Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Yachts here, and it's Monday morning, and we're playing the Pacers today. Pascal Siakam, a great Raptor of all time, returning to the Scotiabank Arena today to play against his former team, a team he played for many, many years. And, well, now he's a Pacer. And in some ways, you know what? It's good for Siakam to be a Pacer. I like the blue and the yellow on him. It looks good. Looks good. Also, we're reacting to a loss, another loss for the 905 in the G League. They're 1-3 now. They lost to Capital City Go-Go yesterday afternoon, and we'll go over that game a little bit with you guys too. So yeah, let's get it going. Raptor Freak stream in. Let's go. Tagging in. We're in. Trevor J saying this year, instead of worrying about what's under the tree, just maybe be grateful for who's still here to be around it. I love that. I love that sentiment. In some ways, we get in this world of possessions and having things. Well, what do we really ever have? Really, seriously, what do we have? We should have memories and love and people that we appreciate having in our life. That's what we should have. If you other stuff is more important, you're misguided, is what I'll say right there. All right, let's get into the preview here real quick. Thank you, Trevor J, for your words of wisdom this morning. All right, we'll start with the injury report for the Raptors today. Jacoby Walter has been ruled out for Monday's game. They said last week that Jacoby is going to see a doctor tomorrow, and he'll get reevaluated and updated on his schedule with his shoulder injury tomorrow. And that's coming from Blake Murphy of Sportsnet. Kelly Olynyk is ruled out for today's game due to his back, and he remains out indefinitely. That's annoying. That's annoying. Come on, Kelly. Come back, Kelly. Kelly, come back. Oh, you can blame it all on a snapback. I was wrong, and we just can't live without you. That's right. Bruno Fernando. Oh, crap, guys. Bruno Fernando is on the injury list this morning. It's his ankle, just like he twisted it in the last game, and we were worried about it. Well, he's out. He's ruled out for today's game. We will be missing our backup big man, Bruno Fernando, today, guys, just so y'all know. DJ Carton has not been back yet. He did not play yesterday, so he is still on the injured list. He's day-to-day right now, DJ Carton. Manuel Quickly is diagnosed with a partial tear in the ulnar collateral ligament in his left elbow, and he will be reevaluated this week around Thursday, I believe. That's when the other guys will go in to see the doctor. Jacoby's on Tuesday, and Kelly, Bruce, Scotty, and Emmanuel will be reevaluated on Thursday, just to know the schedule of reevaluations with our injuries on our team right now. Scotty Barnes, who has already been ruled out for an extended period of time due to an orbital fracture, will not require surgery, and he is wearing a mask, and it is boding that he may return to the lineup in the next week or so. I'm serious. I'm serious. If he doesn't need surgery and that mask is okay and he's comfortable with it, he's in practice. Next thing you know, he'll get contact in practice. Next thing you know, he'll be back in the game. So there is hope that Scotty could be back in our lineup within guys, just so y'all know. Maybe longer. Don't listen to me for sure. But going by what I understand from NBA stuff in the past, wearing the mask and going to practice, well, that means he may be back within the next week, is what I'm saying. So let's hope and pray that our big four is back out on the floor. Bruce Brown already ruled out for today's game, also from healing from his knee surgery. So, Bruce, man, why didn't you do this at the beginning of summer, Bruce? What are you doing, bro? What are you doing, man? So my speculative lineup for tonight is the one we've been running lately: Davion Mitchell, Grady Dick, Ochai Agbaji, RJ Barrett, and Jakob Poeltl. And, of course, we got Jamal Shed, Jamison Battle, Chris Boucher, Jonathan Mobo, and Aldous Shomshay. That's our depth chart right now. Shomshay. They should call him up. Honestly, they could. Although he is on the road technically still. Like, that's the crazy, stupid thing with the 905 and their opening road trip is that they're not around. They're, like, off on the road down in the States. They're in Capital City. They have to play one more game on the road tomorrow night against Capital City Go-Go. And so I don't know. Do they get Shomshay to come up? I don't know if he's ready, honestly. I don't think it would be good for him to just yank him out and try and play him tonight on the Raptors just because Fernando's out. I don't know. You know, with Carlson going to Oklahoma City Thunder, Vance Jackson Jr. has been the replacement on that level for that team. All right, looking at the Indiana side of the ball, it is some injuries on their side also. Ben Shepherd's been out recently. Young Ben Shepherd missed the game on Sunday for the Pacers. They did play yesterday, guys. So they are coming in on the second night of a back-to-back. So that is a little bit of advantageous for our Toronto Raptors today, being home and playing against Indiana, who played yesterday. So that's, they played the Heat twice. They had the Heat in town for 2 games in a row. They lost to the Heat on Friday in the in-season tournament, and then they beat the Heat yesterday and got some redemption from them. Well, they're coming on the road straight from Indiana to come to Toronto to play us today. Yeah, but Ben Shepherd is questionable. He's day to day. He could be there. But he didn't play yesterday. Aaron Nesmith is out until December. According to this, it's his ankle. So no Aaron Nesmith today. Andrew Nebhart is out also. We won't see Canada's Andrew Nebhart coming back and playing in today's game against the Raptors. So no Andrew Nebhart. It's his knee. He's out at least 2 weeks. Isaiah Jackson has a torn Achilles. He tore it on Friday game against the Pelicans at the beginning of the month. So he is out. And James Wiseman has got hurt earlier in the season. He has a successful torn left Achilles surgery. So he is healing, and he will not be playing today. Also, a laundry list of injuries for them also. So their starting lineup is Tyrese Halliburton. Benedict Mathurin is starting now alongside Pascal Siakam at the forward position. Miles Turner is the big center. Starting in the place of Ben Shepherd, I'm going to guess it's going to be somebody like, I don't know, not Johnny Furpey. Maybe TJ McConnell? Nah, maybe not TJ McConnell. Maybe Quentin Jackson or Jarace Walker or something like that. Obi Toppin is on the bench for them still. Enrique Freeman, Tristan Newton, and let's see, James Johnson, of course. Former Raptor James Johnson cocked it back and banged on them. Yeah. In some ways, this guy has been quoted and celebrating the Raptors' 30th anniversary recently in a clip when we were playing Detroit last week. They showed great moments against Detroit Pistons in Raptors history. And, of course, they're going to put James Johnson cocking that joint back and banging on him as one of the great moments against the Pistons. I love that moment against Drummond, Andre Drummond, the Penguin. That's right. Don't talk about that show all of a sudden because I said that, y'all. Please. Come on now. All right, now. All right. So there's your injuries. We'll have to see. They're on the second night of a back-to-back. We did beat Siakam and the Pacers last year to get Darko dinner, to get 3 in a row, which was fabulous. And who knows? I don't know. Siakam, it's the season of giving. Maybe some charity, my guy. I don't know. Whatever happens on the court happens. In some ways, the Raptors have been done wrong recently. And you know what? Maybe things will even out at some point for us. Here are our refs for tonight's game. The ref report, undefeated as always. Our crew chief is James Capers Jr. This is the second game he's been the crew chief for the Raptors so far this season. We lost the first game that he refereed for us this year. He's in his 30th season out of Chicago, Illinois. His favorite movie is Malcolm X. He likes to listen to Jill Scott. His favorite book is The Shack. He enjoys a lobster roll on Martha's Vineyard. Sounds pretty bougie to me. Favorite app, Pandora. His bucket list is to attend an English Premier League soccer match. And his hidden talent is bid whist. So this guy's a card player. This guy knows how to play some cards. James Capers has served on the executive board of the National Basketball Referees Association and helped negotiate collective bargaining agreements with the NBA. He was the first official appointed to serve on the NBA competition committee, and Capers has also been the referee representative on the junior NBA board. So this is kind of like the Garrett Temple of the refs. This is the guy who's going and doing the labor negotiations with the league as far as what they're going to pay the refs and what kind of contract they can get as a union. Once again, a lot of these important jobs have unions. And if your job doesn't have a union, maybe y'all need to organize one, is what I'm going to say about that. James Capers' record with the Raptors. We win 44% of our games with him, and they win 55%. So he favors the Pacers 55-44, and we did lose the first game of the season that he refereed. The second ref is Natalie Sago, 7th season out of St. Louis, Missouri. And her favorite TV show is that Robert Stack crazy show where you might have like a Bigfoot or some crazy crime that happened. DB Cooper jumps out of a plane. It's Unsolved Mysteries. That's right. That's right. Her favorite movie is Hardball. She likes to listen to Morgan Wallen. And her favorite book is Winning. Her favorite meal is steak. She likes to use the IG. She most like to visit Fiji. She's trying to watch a game in every MLB stadium. She's over halfway there. Her hidden talent is juggling. Natalie Sago officiated 4 seasons in the NBA G League and 3 seasons in the WNBA. She worked the G League International Challenge at NBA All-Star Weekend 2018 in Los Angeles. Yeah, so Sago has reffed a game this year also for us. She was a 50-50 with us, but we lost. So now we're a 48% with her. And meanwhile, she really don't favor the Pacers. No, she don't. They're one of the worst records for her so far in her career, 24% winning percentage with her. So they lose less than 1 out of 4 games with her. So it's 48-24 for the Raptors with Miss Natalie Sago today, guys. So keep that in mind. We did lose the first game of the season with Natalie present. Robert Hussey is the third ref. Robert was a referee in the preseason for us, but he has not refereed a regular season game for us yet. Number 85 in his third season from Queens, New York. He likes the Chappelle Show. He watches John Q from movies. His favorite musician is J. Cole. He likes the book, The Four Agreements. He will get down and eat some ackee and yellow yam. His favorite app is ESPN. He'd like to visit Iceland, and his bucket list is to see the 7 wonders of the world. Robert Hussey has officiated 5 seasons in the NBA G League, where he made his playoff debut in 2019 and worked the finals in 2022. He also officiated 2 seasons in the WNBA, including the playoffs in 2022. That's right. You got to do those other leagues to get to the big league, baby. To get to the NBA, you got to go and officiate the G League and the WNBA for a while. Now, Robert is, let's see. His record with the Raptors is 42% winning percentage, the least winning percentage so far out of all 3 refs. And the Pacers win 50%. So 42-50 is the split for the Pacers with the third ref, Robert Hussey. This crew is, it's just a crew. In some ways, these crews, I'm so annoyed with what happened in some ways at the end of the Boston game on Saturday. Report coming out about the referees screwing everything up. It's on ESPN. They even made an article out of it. Jason Tatum traveled before hitting game-winning 3, NBA says. Now, this is annoying, NBA. Y'all give the shaft to the Raptors all the time, and there's no repercussions. There's no righting any wrongs. Why are you going to publicize this? In some ways, it's like, y'all got it wrong, sure, but don't tell everybody, because it trains everybody to disrespect the Raptors. And say, yeah, well, they're the Raptors. Who cares if they got the wrong calls at the end and they lost because of it? You know, that's just like Vince Carter disrespecting us on the way out. It just trains the whole entire world to look down on us and think that we're not worthy of justice. We're not worthy of fairness. We're not worthy of equality. Why do you do this to us? Why don't you just keep it under wraps? Why do you put it out and let everybody know? Yeah, we screwed the Raptors over in Boston on Saturday night, and we're not going to do a damn thing about it. We'll do something about it. Get your fucking refereeing right the first time. You're going to do all these replays and stuff, and you still screw up on the biggest play at the end of the game? What's wrong with y'all? Now, one of the things they're trying to say to cover it up, I guess, to make it feel better, is that, yes, Jason Tatum traveled before he took that game-winning 3. They admitted it. They should have called a travel on him. But they're also saying that Davion Mitchell pushed Jaylen Brown at the same time, and they should have put Jaylen Brown on the line for a push. But once again, at the end of games, y'all ain't calling off-ball fouls, so you wouldn't have fucking called that push on Davion Mitchell on Jaylen Brown, because that doesn't make no fucking sense. You wouldn't call that in that high-stakes time. So you're not going to call the travel. You should have called it. Well, I don't expect you to call it. So let's not even bring it to light. Let's just say that's a superstar player. He got away with a superstar call because he's a superstar. Instead of saying, oh, we should have called travel on him. It doesn't help anything. It's not like y'all are going to go take a win from the Celtics and give a win to the Raptors. And we wouldn't want you to do it that way anyway, because that's cheap. So we want to win the hard way. We're going to win the hard way regardless of what y'all fucking put in front of us. whatever obstacles. So yeah, bullshit. Fuck you, NBA, for admitting you were wrong, but it doesn't even fucking matter. It doesn't even matter. We don't want to look at your 2-minute reports. If you're not going to fucking alter anything or change anything, this bullshit. Monday freak out. Sorry. It's too early in the week, Lex, for a freak out, man. I know. But why do you even tell us? You say, oh, we got that call wrong. But yeah, what are you going to do about it? Nothing. Not a damn thing. Maybe James Capers needs to kiss our ass tonight is what needs to happen to rectify the injustices of the NBA referees' crooked ass mafia. In some ways, I'm thinking this. I was saying this the other day. It's like, man, you could make a lot of money if the Raptors beat the Celtics. Nobody bets on that. That could be organized crime. Maybe they didn't even need them to win. Maybe the fact that we got to the end and overtime with them, some people made a whole bunch of money anyway. Because in some ways, it didn't matter if we won or not. It's about breaking the point spread and getting a tie and going into overtime. Sometimes in some ways that is a Raptors win in the bettor's eyes. And all of a sudden, boom, so a bunch of people made money on the Raptors getting them to overtime, even if they did not complete the task and win the game at the end. With betting involved, Adam Silver, anything's possible. And I'm jaded. And I think that y'all are fucking crooked as fuck because Scott Foster still has a job with y'all. Why wouldn't I think this? Especially since it's wide open like this and the manipulation of things, Jonte Porter shit is going to be happening. You're going to let the Raptors run with them and break the spread and make a lot of people money that bet on the Raptors and still let them lose and fuck them over with a non-travel call. It's bullshit. All right, let's keep going. Trevor J saying happy game day. Let's go. There you go, Trevor. I love that. And Monique is saying, good morning, Raptor Free crew, and happy game day. Happy game day to you, Mo. Good to have you back in the chat, hanging out with us live in the morning. I know you catch us later on when you're not watching with us live in the morning. That's right. Mo's saying, please show fight when it comes to the fourth quarter, and let's not have our fourth quarter woes for once. The fourth quarter woes are just learning. We just don't know. We're young. We're dumb. We don't understand these situations. Grady Dick is in his second year. He's just about to turn 21. He's only 20 years old. He'll be 21 in a couple days. That man does not know what he's doing yet exactly in the high pressure situation. So this is all this is. It's not like we can just turn the switch on and say, yeah, we know what we're doing in the fourth quarter. No, we have to continue to fuck up and mess up until we finally learn what to do in the fourth quarter. This is why I valued Fred so much. And I told all the Fred haters to shut the fuck up. You don't understand how much Fred does to control things and keep us calm and so that we don't have fourth quarter woes, as Monique says. Until somebody figures it out, well, we're going to keep having fourth quarter woes. Emmanuel and RJ may be the closest to figuring it out with the fourth quarter because they've had time and they've been in high-stakes situations. Scotty, to an extent, but he still needs to get healthy and get out there so he can learn his fourth quarter woes lessons still. Grady has definitely got some, and the rest of them too. There's nobody on this team that is a seasoned veteran of deep playoff stuff that is playing right now for us. None of them. Bruce Brown, okay, but he's hurt. Who else? Jakob has not gotten far in the playoffs, so he can't count. Chris Boucher has not played enough. He's been a bench player and role player, never been a main player in high-stakes playoffs or important games. So in some ways, this makes sense. Kelly's hurt. He can't help us in this situation because he's hurt right now. So it's like, who's going to do it, Mo? Who's going to do it? Who's going to magically know exactly what to do in the fourth quarter? They have to learn. They have to fail. They have to lose, and then they'll learn. It's all a process. So, yeah, I wish we could say let's not have our fourth quarter woes, but honestly, we don't have the expertise, the ability to understand the fourth quarter and just everything, all the little details. There's little things that will mess you up and you didn't even think it would, whether it's missing free throws or not taking care of the ball correctly and having too many turnovers in the fourth quarter, all that kind of stuff. Well, we'll see. We can play them good. We can compete. Maybe we'll steal one from them somehow, some way, because we work it out. But once again, the best way for the Raptors to win a game is to get a double-digit lead and fucking run them off the court and just undoubtedly win. You keep that ball close. If we're not doing well enough and the game is close, the other team will strike and they will make it win in the end in the last minute because they know what to do in the fourth quarter. We don't know what to do. Well, we better blow them out because we're going to need 10, 15-point lead in the fourth quarter, holding off the Pacers if we're going to do that. Seriously. That's just the only way a young team like ours is going to win outright is we have to blow teams out and have a double-digit lead. That's the only way. It's the same rules as before with Kyle and DeMar. I was saying this in 2012, 2013, when these guys were first starting out with Dwayne Casey. I said, y'all have to double-digit lead because either the refs will screw us or our inexperience will kill us in the end because we don't know how to close out games to win when the margin is very slim. And that's just how it is. And we'll learn. We'll get better. That's right. Hit first, come out the gate strong for sure. That'll help. Get the lead and don't look back. Keep going. Don't let them come back. Hold them off. Play solid defense. Do not turn the ball over. Make your open shots. Make your free throws and get a double-digit lead. That's the key to victory right there. That's it right there. That's right. Mo's saying, let's see what else Mo's saying this morning. Awesome stuff. Breaking news, last night, got 2 tickets coming my way for the 905 game, December the 8th. Fantastic stuff. That's awesome. That is great news, Monique. So Mo has figured it out with Courtney Charles, and she's getting access to come to the game on December the 8th, the Westchester Knicks G League game, 905, and we're going down there for a Raptor Freak hangout, and I hope more of you will join us. It's an afternoon game on a Sunday, 2 p.m., Paramount Fine Food Center, going to our first 905 game as a Raptor Freak family. And I want to say this. Y'all bring some canned goods and stuff. I believe that's what they're doing. They're doing the season's givings canned good drive, and they want people to donate canned food to their drive. And it's very good in holiday spirit and helping people that may need some food this holiday season. So keep that in mind if you are going to come down. But either way, please come down and hang out with the super fan Monique Lawrence and myself at a 905 game in person. That's right. And people that live in Mississauga, this is easy for y'all. Y'all in the neighborhood. Come on down the street and just say hi and hang out and watch the game with old Lex and Miss Mo, and we'll have a jolly good time. I'm so happy to hear this, Mo, that you are going to be able to come to our 905 get-together. This is fantastic. I think that it's a really good time of the day so that we can all get there and get home at a decent hour since it's in the middle of the afternoon. There you go. I love it. I love it. Mo, I'm giving you a dunk for getting the tickets to go to the 905 game with us. I love that so much. That is so awesome. And because, we always want to have Monique at our events. All right, so 2:30. You got 5-pointer there, Mo. You're at 2:30 now. 2:30. Don't be there at 2:30. The game starts at 2. That's what I'm saying. I'll probably get down there for around 1:30. If you want to gauge your timing for how to do things, maybe 1 o'clock. I might get there as early as 1 o'clock, guys. It's more likely I'll be there around 1 to 1:30, guys. So, get your ticket and come on in. I may be outside a little bit before. We'll figure it out. We'll fine tune the details of how we're going to meet up there. The closer we get to the time. Now, it's such a small arena in some ways, and it's not a big crowd. It should be pretty easy for each other to find each other. But I don't know any real good landmarks there yet as far as say, oh, we'll meet at this place at Scotiabank. I've never been there, so I can't tell you exactly where we'll be. But we'll figure it out, and we'll get it all organized and fine-tuned in the week before the game so we understand exactly what's going on. Cool Cat's here. Good to see Coach Cool Cat on a Monday morning. Let's see what Coach is saying. This is a great day for her because she gets to see her Siakam tonight. And I know she'll be at the game tonight. That's right. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Game day, and I will be attending. Raptors, the fastest team in the league, may have a chance to beat the Pacers. They only have 4 core players, then third-string bench dealing with injuries. Yeah, that's what it looked like from the injury report. Cool Cat, that the Pacers are not exactly healthy right now. Young, talented players like Ben Shepherd and Andrew Nebhart on the injury list right now. Very, very interesting. Well, I'm excited to see what the Pacers look like. In some ways, I feel like this is Siakam's team, but a lot of people feel like it's Halliburton's team. But I don't know. Maybe that is the great debate in Indiana, is whose team is it? Should it be Siakam's or is it Tyrese's? A lot of people say it's just Tyrese's, man. What are you talking about? Siakam, what are you talking about to me? Siakam, bro. Have you seen this guy play? He's like one of the unstoppable offensive players in this league. Nobody can stop him. Nobody can stop him. Hopefully we can stop him a bit tonight. Hopefully just a little bit. Yeah. Smooth's here. Good to see Smooth Brown, man. Argos 2024 Grey Cup champions. That's right. MLSC getting the win last night with the Argos winning the Grey Cup over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And I heard in the chat that Larry Tannenbaum was there smiling real big, getting that championship there, bringing those winning vibes to hopefully the Raptors organization. Larry T, we love you. You're a great owner. And I will have a tribute to Larry Tannenbaum very, very shortly and soon, man. I just love that guy. And he's been so good for the Raptors, and I don't want him to ever go away. But yeah, congratulations to the Toronto Argonauts on winning another Grey Cup this year, yesterday against Winnipeg Blue Bombers. I couldn't have lost in that one. I'd go for Winnipeg or Toronto. Those are my two favorite CFL teams. So I couldn't lose yesterday. I could not at all. That's right. Who's next? Who's next? First chip under the new majority MLSC ownership. Who's next? You know, that we've had the Argos for a long, long time. We've won championships. MLSC has had the Argos pretty much since Lewicki. So, I mean, even longer, I think. So it's not like we just acquired them. Like, I know the Blue Jays are now kind of under the same umbrella as everybody, too, because of Rogers being the primary owner. But, yeah, this is great. Hopefully winning vibes will come to the Raptors next. That's what I'm hoping. Nako's here. Good to see Gerald on Monday morning. How you doing this morning, Gerald? If I'm sending Urich, it's probably against a team that's super green. Yeah, I don't know if they'll send him over. I don't know if it's worth it to them. They got one more game. They honestly need him on the 905 level, too. He started at center yesterday, and he was very green. He had different issues, but he had also some good moments. We'll look at that game right now if you want. We'll look at the game real quick. But, yeah, I don't know if they should send him right now. It's really not the right time. My stars of the game for the 905 loss to the Capital City Go-Go yesterday. This was crazy. This dude has barely played this season for them, and he went off. In fact, this was a guy that Monique and I had both speculated he would get cut in the training camp, but he didn't. He survived, and he made it through. And, well, he didn't get played a whole lot in the first few games of the season, but he got played last night. Boy, did he yesterday. Yeah, 11 of 21 from the field with 30 points. 5 of 9 from 3, 2 of 3 from free throw line, 1 rebound, 5 assists, 1 steal, 3 turnovers, 32 minutes. Evan Gilliard II came out and bombed it out with his crazy side ponytail hair. Yeah, that dude was balling. That dude was killing it yesterday, I should say. It's in the afternoon. He should have, man, he was so good, but we didn't win the game. In some ways, we got blown out by almost 20 still. It was a 131 to 113 victory for Capital City. It's just the same stuff with 905. We can't get organized enough or play together enough or do things correctly enough, take our free throws serious enough. There's all kinds of different dumb things happening. And in some ways, it is what it is. I was hoping we'd see a stark contrast from Eric Curry's 905 to Andrew Jones's 905, but we're not. We're not. It's the same stuff. In some ways, it's kind of like the injuries are a big problem this time. Once again, there was injuries last year. It was a problem too. And this year, it's the same thing. DJ Carton going out, the very key one. Very, very key one. But Evan Gilliard coming in as the backup point guard, and he actually ended up playing more than Kennedy Chandler, who's the starting point guard. He outplayed them, and he got out there and he got the ball out. So Gilliard, salute to you. Having a fantastic game. In some ways, it was mostly ethical. In some ways, it was kind of like, he's doing a little too much by himself, but I'll allow it because he's doing so well. The second star of the game for me is, once again, Tyreek Key. Tyreek Key has been a star in every single 905 game to me. He's made it on the list every single time because he's been efficient. He's a very pro guy. In some ways, he gives me vibes of Anthony Parker for some reason. I don't know why. He's giving me Anthony Parker vibes. He's a weird guard because he's short, then he's rotund, and he has like a roundness to him. But he can shoot, and he's professional. He gets the line. He makes his free throws. He's doing things correctly, and I can tell he's a fundamentally well-trained basketball player. And I just want more of these kind of guys around. The Jeff Doughton types, the DJ Carton type, the Tyreek Key type. 27 minutes. He was 4 of 9 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, 2 of 2 at the free throw line, 1 steal, 11 points in 27 minutes. It's not that he gave us a whole lot. It's just he was solid in everything he did pretty much out there. I wish he had made more of his threes, but he made one. He's just solid. And for some reason, I really like this guy. He's a good player. He really, really is. My third star of the game is Miles Burns. Miles Burns came off the bench, energy personified, got after it. This game was weird because we were playing against a lot of former Raptors. Justin Champagnie in particular, Mohamedou Gay also very prominent on the other side. And I was wondering if this is going to turn into a former Raptor 905 a revenge game. But no, these guys, they just played normal. They didn't have energy like they were angry and trying to get back at us, but they did play very well, and they did play in a big way. Justin palling around with some of the people from the bench, dapping them like his former coaches that are still around on the 905, like Arslan. And, they didn't really come with that energy like they were mad at the Raptors at all, Champagnie or Mohamedou. They really weren't. Miles Burns, though, came with an energy like he was trying to prove something against Justin Champagnie. It was weird, man. They were matched up against each other a lot, and Miles would be guarding him, and he got a block on him, and he was playing with a really strong intensity that I like. In some ways, I saw a focus in Miles Burns that I had not seen in him in the first year of him on the Raptors 905 last year. In this game yesterday, he was really good. 4 of 8, he shot 50%. He missed all 3 of his 3-point attempts. 1 of 2 at the free throw line. 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block. -2 with 10 points in 19 minutes. Yeah, I just liked his energy. He was getting after it. He was attacking. He was dogged on defense. He was all over the place. We saw you, Miles Burns, and what you were doing out there yesterday, and it was awesome. You were taking it to Justin Champagnie and trying to stop him. Now, on the other side, yeah, let's talk about our former Raptors real quick. Mohamedou had a 4 for 12 game with 12 points, missed both of his 3-point attempts, 2 of 4 from free throws, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, 4 turnovers. That's what Mohamedou Gay did. Justin Champagnie also starting for the Capital City Go-Go yesterday, 21 points in 37 minutes, 5 of 13 from the field. He missed all 3 of his threes, 7 of 7 at the free throw line, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks. So a double-double for former Raptor Justin Champagnie. And I'm telling you, he didn't seem like he was that mad at us. He didn't seem like he's trying to get back at us. I feel like Justin, in some ways, really has matured in the 4 years he's been in the league. This is his 4th year, just like Scotty. And in some ways, he's had to learn some very much like humbling lessons. The guy who came in sunning everybody ain't there anymore. This is not the same dude. It's a very, very different guy. He's a little more subdued, a little more calm. And in some ways, some of the edge that he had when he first came in with getting after it and being like that is gone too. But it's replaced with a knowledgeable kind of like pick your spots and know what to do in some way. Cerebral player. It's just that some of the fire is dimmed. I'm not going to lie. That's what it looks like with him. And other guys that were on the team that are notable, John Butler Jr. out of Florida State, looking fantastic around the rim with blocks and putbacks. And 18 points for him with 6 rebounds. Yeah, 7 of 12 shooting. Taylor Funk, the great shooter. For Taylor Funk was 6 of 11, but he didn't shoot the threes very well. 16 points for him. RJ Nembhard, 23 points. Michael Foster, 22 points off the bench, 8 of 12 shooting. And Dennis Rodman Jr. coming in for 13 minutes, getting 4 points and 2 of 4 shooting. Yeah, 905, they just annoy me, man, because first of all, they don't play together. And then the other team plays more together, and they just go crazy and outscore us in the second half. They scored 67 points in the second half, and we didn't match that. We only scored 60. And that, in some ways, we were doing so well in certain ways in this game, but also at the same time, not really. I don't know what to say. The 905 is going to get going at some point. I think it'll be when Shed shows up. Until Shed shows up there, I feel like they're just going to be kind of eh. Yeah, I'll bring up Shamshay real quick. We might as well while we're doing it. Shamshay started. He did the jump ball. It was very kind of cool to see Shamshay be the guy in the center, doing the jump ball, wearing his pink shoes. He only had 4 points. He was 2 of 5 from the field, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, 1 turnover, and 4 fouls. So Shamshay, very quiet game. In some ways, he's a power forward that's going to do power forward stuff first before you guys want him to score so much. He's not going to do that. He's got to rebound. He's got to block shots. He's got to play defense. And, maybe he'll get some garbage points. That's the thing he's going to be doing right now is garbage points, putbacks. He's not going to get his number called in play sets So some guy's in there calling out. He needs to do a pick and pop screen play for Ulrich right now. Drew Jones, bro, quit dreaming, man. This guy's not ready for this kind of stuff. They're not calling plays for him because he's not ready for it. And the stuff that he's doing is garbage points, getting the ball loose and coming back and jamming it in. That's the stuff he's going to get more of right now. Quincy Guerriere, not the best of games. 0-4 from 3, 3 of 8 from the field, 0 for 2 at the free throw line, but he did have 10 rebounds, which was nice. 2 assists, 1 block, 6 points for Quincy starting in 40 minutes play. That's just not enough production, Quincy. And the thing we got to remember about Quincy Guerriere is he's on Team Canada. He's on one of the under teams, and he will be departing from the 905 shortly to go and play in a tournament to help out Team Canada qualifying for Olympic stuff and FIBA stuff. So Quincy will be making a leave of absence from the Raptors 905 in the near future, just so y'all know. Charlie Brown, you annoyed the hell out of me, man. 5 of 12. He took so many shots, not conducive for team play. Very selfish player. 5 of 12 from the field, 3 of 7 from free throw land. In some ways, he was carrying us and helping us stay in the game, but also at the same time making me hate him more and more. 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 17 points in 27 minutes, a minus 16 for the game. Kennedy Chandler, a similar stat line, 5 of 14, missed both his threes, 1 of 2 at free throw line, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals, 1 turnover, minus 23 with 11 points in 28 minutes. Dylan Disu was okay. He was the best player off the bench in some ways. 3 of 7 from the field, missed all 4 of his threes, made his only free throw, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 8 points, but he was a plus 11, and he had the best plus minus of all the Raptors 905 yesterday. Kevin O'Banner had a tough game. In some points, I was like calling out for more O'Banner, and I thought it was kind of cool to see O'Banner against Mohamedou because they were teammates last year. And I don't know if they actually were that friendly with each other, because even at the end of the game when they're dapping each other, it was not unfamiliar dap, where maybe they looked at each other as competition all last year when they were playing on the same team. But O'Banner got more time out there, but he didn't really take advantage of it. He did and he didn't. He got 11 points in 13 minutes, which is great points production per minute. 4 for 7 from the field, 1 of 1 from 3, 2 of 5 from the free throw line, 5 offensive rebounds. So he was in there working. 6 rebounds altogether. But he was a minus 16 also. In some ways, Kevin O'Banner was doing a Justin Champagnie impression. In some ways, I've seen the shades of Justin Champagnie and Kevin O'Banner. So it was kind of weird to see the mix of present Raptors 905 versus old Raptors 905 up against each other. It was really kind of weird. Kevin O'Banner, Mohamedou, Justin Champagnie, Miles Burns, all that stuff is very, very weird. Tyler Perry came in for 16 minutes, only got 5 points and 1 rebound, 1 assist. And then, that's pretty much the stats for the 905 and the box score as a team. It's too bad. They're falling apart late in the game. They had it close most of the game, and then they fell apart in the end of the game and just get disorganized. And Capital City Go-Go continues their win streak against 905. They did not beat them last year once, and now they have a 5-game win streak against our G League affiliate. And it's just annoying. It's annoying. Y'all could be winning these games if y'all weren't healthy. I know this is part of it. And there's not good health on either level of the Raptors right now, whether it's 905 or the regular Raptors. And the regular Raptors hurts the 905 because those really good rookies are up there having to be live bodies for the Raptors. And they could have been helping the 905 win these games. Seriously. They'd be huge talent upgrades for what's going on down there. Seriously. So there you go. There's my 905 report from the box score talking about that stuff. Smooth saying O'Shea Brissett yesterday. He celebrated with the team. There you go. Yeah, Brissett's not in the league right now, I believe. I don't think he's playing in the NBA at all. Like, I don't know if he's on a single roster. He's definitely not in the G League. So who knows? Maybe O'Shea Brissett's NBA career is over. And that's just how it goes. Maybe he's concentrating on playing overseas more or something like that. Who knows? But he's not on any roster at this point, which is very interesting. Let's see. Cool Cat saying OKC has picked up Carlson. That was my fear. Yeah, we talked about this 2 days ago, Cool Cat. I know you're not in here every day, but this is not breaking news. We actually broke this news on Saturday when it happened, and we reacted to it right away when it happened. Listen, I don't give a shit about Carlson. This whole thing with Carlson's pissing me off, honestly, because this feels stupid comments and opinions about Carlson. Oh no, we lost him and all this stuff. I don't give a fuck. He's not a needle pusher. Everybody looks at him and they think, oh, he's a savior. He's going to do this for us. And he's going to do this for us. He's not going to do jack shit for us in some ways. And in some ways, this will be interesting to see exactly how much he can help the Thunder in the NBA. Because I'm going to tell you right now, he's going to get exposed for the reasons why I said earlier. And it'll be evident. In some ways, the Thunder are already getting away with putting weakling centers out there like Chet Holmgren. Well, they just got another one out there. Maybe they have their ways to protect the deficiencies of a player like Brendan Carlson. But you know that there are deficiencies, and they can be exploited on the NBA level. And we'll just have to see if he gets exploited in the NBA level because of this. Yeah. Now we are down on centers, only Shamshe, who's still developing. I don't even count Shamshe as a real center, though. In some ways, we wanted that center depth, and we lost it in some ways. Koloko, that bullshit. Carlson, yeah, in some ways it is what it is. I don't second guess my front office like a lot of people are doing right now on this. And that's the thing that's annoying. In some ways, there's certain people that are really delighting in this because it makes Masai and Bobby look weird or in some sort of way, negative way. I don't fucking buy into this shit. They understand what's going on with this. And, Carlson may be that close, but in some ways he's not in my eyes as far as defensively. He can shoot threes. He can block shots, but he cannot guard down in the paint. And he's going to get 8 alive. 8 alive. There's going to be people that just back him down and make shots over him. There's going to be people that push him off and he'll fold. I'm telling you, the dude is not strong enough to play in the NBA. And, well, maybe the Thunder have a way to mask it or cover it up. But, whatever. It is what it is. He's in the G League. He's open to be bought up. And they needed a center bad because all their centers got hurt in Oklahoma City Thunder. And, Blake Murphy called this. He said as soon as he saw, like the other day when Carlson made 2 threes to open up the 905 game, he's like, yeah, Oklahoma City's going to call him up. So he called it like 4 days before it happened. He said it in a G League like 4 days before it happened. Oh, Oklahoma City's going to call him up. And boom, they did Saturday morning. And that is that. So what? And Carlson has a big shitting grin. He's so happy he got saved and brought into the Thunder. Some people are saying this is the fastest G League call-up. That's not true either. It's pretty quick. That's true. But this isn't the fastest G League call-up in the history of the G League. No, it's not. But it is pretty quick. Fastest would be like after the first game. This dude played like 3 or 4 games for us before he got called up. So, yeah, Nako's saying last year in the NBA for Wiseman. Last year in the NBA for Wiseman? That's what I'm telling you, man. Golden State busted at that pick. They got that guy a high draft pick. What was he? Like a top 3 pick. And look where he's at now on his way out. Why don't people say the Golden State Warriors front office is washed? Why don't they talk about, well, they picked Jonathan Kuminga and James Wiseman. Now, Kuminga's starting to come around, but Wiseman was a bust. Where are the people saying that the Golden State Warriors front office needs to be fired? Because that's the action that I would hear if we had done something like that. He didn't fumble a top 3 pick like the Golden State Warriors did. Maybe Warriors fans are calling for the front office on that one. I don't know. Kaz is saying good morning, all. Good morning to Kaz. He's on the road again because it's Monday. That's right. Carlos saying morning, Lex and Philip Freaks. Tatum's game winner was confirmed to be a travel. Laugh out loud. I know. In some ways, who cares at this point? Who cares? In some ways, life is life. Life is going to be lifing. And life is going to do what it's going to do. It's disheartening. It's tragic. It's corrupt. It's evil at this point. And in some ways, why not just live in a shadow world where rules don't matter? Ethics don't matter, because that is where we're going with the second Trump presidency. Ethics and rules do not matter. You be encouraged to be a cheat, to be a misogynist, to be a racist, fuckface, because that's the message that gets told everybody. You could be all these ugly things that Donald Trump is and still be president. So what? This is the world we live in. This is what Trump has done to us. Put us in a shadow realm where ethics don't matter anymore. So why does it matter if the NBA didn't get the call right? It doesn't matter because we live in Trump world, y'all. It doesn't matter at this point. We just got to suck it up and deal with this bullshit. And that's basically the message. And that's the message on this and the call of the traveling on Jason Tatum. That's right. MVP candidate, Jason Tatum. Yeah, MVP, my ass. Just, yeah, whatever. That motherfucker. That's right. Kareem's saying, fuck 2-minute report. Get it right in the last 2 minutes, you fucking zebras. There you go. There you go. In some ways, I can't be mad at this. It is what it is. Who cares? We took the champions to overtime and almost beat them. They should be scared. I feel good about that. And you know what? We don't get the win. Well, that helps us capture the flag. So it's like, whatever. Let's game whatever's happening to our advantage no matter what, even if it's painful and it's losing. That's what I say about that. That's right. Nako's saying Kelly got experience, but he's hurt. You know, in some ways, we can think about Kelly Olynyk at the Olympics for Canada and why he was not such a prominent role. Maybe his back was already hurting him in the middle of summer. Because I was like wondering, why isn't he playing Kelly more? Play Kelly more. Kelly is such an experienced player. He's a useful person to have in very important games. But no, we couldn't use Kelly against France in certain ways. And I'm like, why weren't we playing Kelly more against Victor Wembanyama and Yabusele? Because we could have used Kelly in those summer Olympic games that we watched this summer. But Kelly was getting limited time. He wasn't playing a whole lot. Lex, was Kelly's back already fucked up this summer? Maybe it was. And it's still fucked up right now. I hate this. We need you back, Kelly. Basketball Rewinds in the house. Kenyon, what's going on, man? Let's see what Kenyon's saying. He's got a couple of drops, a couple of comments in here. Let's see what our guy Basketball Rewind is saying. Right now, Grady is punching up to what he can within the system. Darko now needs to help Grady to find new ways to get him the ball in different spots to continue to develop. Yeah, I'm going to break these down in a row. Maybe I'll read this one too. I have mentioned this here and there. The Raptors will eventually be good again, but sometimes you have to go through the fire to become hardened, like how steel is made of fire, iron, and carbon. Yeah, I'm on the same page with you on this. In some ways, it is true. You can't understand how to succeed without failing. In some ways, failure drives success, and you have to feel the sting of the failure. You have to understand the lessons of losing to feel the winning, to feel how much it takes to get to the winning. And that's the stage we're in right now. Kenyon's exactly on point with that. The thing with Grady is interesting. You know, Grady is now the number one scouting report person for us. RJ's up there too, but they are really keen on him. And this is different because he came in gangbusters this season, really getting paid attention to. Scotty had been healthy. Emmanuel had been healthy. They'd be keen on them with RJ, the barbecue. But no, the dick. They're looking at the dick, and they're trying to figure out how to stop it. And, well, they have figured out some of this stuff. Boston doing very effective stuff to stymie him. Detroit doing a similar thing. So the game plans for the other teams have altered to center around Grady Dick. Now, that's the next evolution. In some ways, he's accelerating through the processes of getting better and better in this league by this. Exactly what Kenyon's saying. He's got to be hardened and put through the fire. Well, now you're getting all this attention. It seemed like you were very efficient and doing a very good job, but now they're going to be fouling you. You're not going to get as much respect from the refs, so they will not give you calls, even if they foul you. Then they're going to be shadowing you. They're going to be right up on you. You're not going to give you any daylight. So in some ways, it's true what Kenyon's saying. Darko's got to figure out schemes to free him up again. And Brady's got to realize just how on the money and on the dime and in the moment. And this is the window of time you have to get that shot open while you have this opportunity at this point in this time. They may have laid off of him in the past, but they're not going to do it ever again. And that's the thing that he has to adjust to now. Nothing's wrong with any of this. This is a compliment to him that he is emerging as an offensive weapon in the NBA. It's just that we have to make the calculations and adjustments. And in some ways, Darko can do the things to make the plan the way that can set him up to be successful. But Grady's also got to adjust to the new intensity, the new attention, and the new developments of how little time he has to get his shot off. His shot release is quickened up in the year or so he's been on the Raptors already. It maybe has to be quicker and quicker, like a Del Curry quick release. So, man, it's just how it is. In some ways, this is the growing pains. This is they changed the scouting report, and Grady's at the top of it. And now he has to figure out when he's the main target of the defense at this point. And that's just what it is. Kenyon, good to see you this morning on Monday, man. Good to see you, man. Trevor's saying Houston ran all over the Bulls yesterday. Fred VanVleet, 28 points, 7-7. Rockets, 143. Bulls, 107. That's a very substantial point total. 143 by the Rockets. I love to hear that. I love to hear success for our former Raptors. Maybe not for Siakam tonight, but Fred VanVleet, for sure. OG Anunoby, for sure. Norman Powell. DeMar DeRozan, for sure. I love those guys. Not Kyle. I'm not gonna put him on that list because he plays for Butthole Face. But yeah, I love to hear that Fred is having some success against other teams in Houston. Yeah, that's good stuff. Fred had a tough start, and well, he's getting things going again. And the Rockets are in good shape. They have a bright future. They have a very interesting young core, and they have a great grizzled vet that is their point guard named Fred VanVleet. I love that. Yeah, Cool Cat saying Lex, Pacers having problems with closing out games like the Raptors. Ooh, that's interesting. Teams are allowed back in the game because the bench can hold it. So Raptors could eke out a win. Siakam's threes may not drop. Emotions. No, this is awesome. This is like our own personal scout for the Pacers franchise, Cool Cat, because she's paying very close attention to them because she loves Siakam so much. So this is a really good intel. So you're saying they're having trouble closing out games, and the bench is not holding leads for them when the starters are out. Interesting. Interesting. I will say this though. At least they've got Tyrese Halliburton, and he's a big time shot maker at the end of games. He's the kind of guy that I get worried about in the clutch, making big shots, kind of like what Jason did to us on Saturday night. So that may be I would say, okay, well, we got Grady. We've got RJ. These guys can step up and make big shots too. Well, we'll have to see. Maybe this will be a lot closer than we think. Of course, the Pacers are one of these middling Eastern Conference teams with a 6-7 record, and they haven't got off to an amazing fast start in this NBA season so far. They have definitely been like the rest of the Eastern Conference, a little mix of good and bad. And well, we'll have to see. Maybe Cool Cat's telling us something I love to hear because we need to break this losing streak. I don't want to be on long ass double digit losing streaks. I don't want to try and do anything like Detroit did last year. I just want to break these streaks up and get wins here and there. And hopefully when we get healthy, we'll win a lot more often than we have right now. That we really need to. We really, really do. Kenyon saying, overtime, we struggle offensively as if the playbook shrivels up and we go into ISO. RJ said this after the game on Saturday, Kenyon. He said that he blames the loss to the Boston Celtics on the fact that they played a back-to-back. You could say that's excuses, but let's think about what happened on the road trip before when they were in LA. They played against the Clippers and the Lakers, and later in the games of both those games, they ran out of gas. And in some ways, that was a time change, a 5-game road trip in the West Coast, changing times, traveling, being on the road. They just hit a wall where they were exhausted in the second half against the Lakers, and the Lakers just ran over them then. And they got tired again when they played the Bucks last Tuesday in the in-season tournament. They've had problems with fatiguing out because of the arduous road trip and certain things. Well, it was diabolical of the NBA to schedule the Detroit Pistons in-season tournament game on Friday night, and then we immediately have to go to Boston and play the champs the night after. So, I mean, listen, overtime is a long game, and the Celtics got to sit. They had played last game on Wednesday before Saturday, so they had 2 days off, and we were coming straight from Toronto to play them on Saturday night. So in some ways, I mean, the problems at the end of the game, some of it has been fatigue, if not experience lacked. So there's a couple of different factors in there for why the playbook is shriveling up and going into ISO. In some ways, when there's really intense defense by high-level teams like Boston, they really don't let you get into your play sets, and it does break down, and all of a sudden you have to rely on one-on-one talent in your individual player like RJ Barrett. It's just how it is. In some ways, I wish we could play the beautiful Darko Rajakovic passing game late in the game because we know what we're doing really well and we're confident. But when the intensity comes up, we're on the road and there's a road crowd that's very loud. It's confusing. And we have a young core that doesn't really have a lot of NBA experience. Well, this is the NBA experience. Look, it's going to be chaotic. It's going to be crazy. And yeah, plays will get broken and we'll have to devolve into isolation play. It's just how it is. In some ways, some people may blame Darko for that, but he had all the best intentions. He gave them things to do. And if the players just get into a chaotic place because of what's happening on the court, well, they have to go off script. And it's just part of it. That's why, in some ways, people criticizing Darko for end of game plays. It's just not really intelligent to do that because the players have a lot of control over what they decide to do in the moment with their muscles and their muscle memory. And the coach doesn't get mad at them because Darko wants them to feel confident and be doing what they feel good doing.
And in some ways, sometimes feel good doing is not calling a timeout and letting RJ continue to play without the defense setting up. Sometimes it is RJ going isolation and trying to beat the team by himself, hero ball, because in some ways he does have a track record of some success. So it's a tough thing to look at. And yeah, I wish we could just run plays in certain ways to get good things happening. But in some ways, we're beginners. We're not PhD level like the Celtics. They are on a certain level of working together and talking it out. And we have such a young core that's so green that in some ways we're just learning basic stuff in grade school. And these guys are in college level as far as like figuring things out. It's just how it is. It's a growth, a rebuild. That's how it is. Carlos saying there's so many things RJ can copy from Jaylen Brown. He can bulk up and play bully ball. RJ's pretty strong already. I don't think that he's any less stronger than Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's doing crazy stuff like lifting weights at the bottom of a pool in the offseason. He goes down there and he's like in a scuba tank or something like that. And he's walking around in the bottom of the pool for a half an hour with a bunch of weights at the very bottom of the pool. He does some really interesting stuff in his offseason workout. I have a lot of respect for Jaylen Brown. I really, really do. He's one of the few Celtics that I like. Him and Drew Holiday are two of my favorite Celtics for sure. Derek White's all right too. I don't mind him either. But yeah, I mean, RJ's got his own regiment. The one thing we were talking about yesterday that he probably needs to work on the most is free throws. He just needs to get that shit figured out and stop doing this, man, because it's killing him inside too. I can tell he's hating how he's missing free throws just as much as we're hating it, and it's bugging the hell out of him. So this is crazy because the very simple stuff is something that RJ really kind of needs to get back to figuring out, and that's free throw shooting. Free throw shooting is the biggest Achilles heel for him right now. Brian's here. Good to see To The Points. Brian's here. What's up, King? What's up, Freak Nation? Shouted out Freak Nation on my video today for y'all. I got no hate for the Pacers with a Canadian connection. That's right. We got Ben Mathurin returning to Canada tonight to play against us. He's now a starter for the Pacers, and he's had some monster games. I always wondered about the fit when Siakam got traded to the Pacers with Mathurin around because I thought they played the same position. And in some ways, they may be like stepping on each other's toes. But I'm very delighted to see that at this point, the Pacers are starting Benedict alongside Pascal. And I love that French connection, that Toronto and Canada and Montreal French connection. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So I'll be excited to see Ben Mathurin, who's been hurt for a lot in the last year, and we have not seen him in Raptors games or in Canada, Team Canada stuff. So I'm going to be excited to see Benedict tonight. Too bad Andrew's hurt. How about that? We'll say that. Yeah. Basketball Rewind saying, Lex, you are right. It is Siakam's team and Mathurin's. Holly has a slow shot release and relies heavily on gravity of others. Post-entry pass is sadly dead. Some of it is marketing. The NBA really wants to market Tyrese Halliburton as one of the top stars, and they're using him as a young star. So it clouds the whole thing. In some ways, they want him to be a golden boy. For some reason, they don't think Siakam's very marketable. Yeah, we could delve into this. We don't need to. But, Siakam is really kind of the guy. He's the carrier. He carries that team. He did it just like he did it for us. And, that's why I see it. Halliburton can be flaky. Halliburton can be this guy who puts up a 3 for 27 game. So, I like this. Thank you, Kenyon, for agreeing with me. And, I think it's Siakam's team, and you think Mathurin also to a lesser degree also. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, Benedict can score quickly, a lot, fast, and he's very talented. And the other thing about Benedict that I've forgotten about that I remember from his rookie year is that he's a very determined scorer. In some ways, he has shades of RJ where he's like going to not be denied. That dude is going to come in there and try and make shots. And also, he's the kind of guy that wants the shot at the end of games. Going off of Cool Cat's comment earlier about how they're having trouble closing games, well, that's weird to me because in some ways, Siakam's unstoppable and Benedict Mathurin is undeniable. This dude just will try and go get baskets no matter what. He's just that forceful and that much anger. In some ways, he comes out with anger, like I'm coming and I'm going to score at the end of the game no matter what. And that's interesting. Very, very cool to have Basketball Rewind in the chat this morning. Cool Cat saying it's Tyrese's team. This is her. She's a Siakam person. Siakam, the young vet, consistency, steady hand, is helping the youngins keep composure. Siakam is forever a Raptor. Too many Raptors fans remind Pacers in their social media channels, 43 forever. Yeah, you cannot shake that. I mean, what happened? Siakam went to go get the donuts in Indiana, and the guy in the line said, "Toronto's finest, Pascal Siakam," and he's like, "No, man, that's not me anymore. I'm here with y'all." He's like trying to tell the fan in the Indiana donut store that no, I'm not Toronto's finest anymore. I'm with y'all now. Come on now. No, but it's true. The love for Siakam is so strong. Kids are dressing up as Siakam still for Halloween and sending him pictures, and he's putting it up on his social media. There's so much to it. In fact, Siakam being in Toronto today, it just feels right. I know Pascal probably really enjoys coming back, even being on the Pacers now and just being back around familiar faces, just like a lot of these Raptors do. Kyle Lowry does what he does, comes in the equipment manager's locker room before the game and hangs out in there in Toronto when he comes back. You know, Siakam's got people he's going to come and see around too. You know, his family is probably a big chunk of them still here. And you know, he goes back to his house here in town. It's like it's easy for him to be here, coming as a visitor because it's so all so familiar. And he is a Raptor legend forever. He really is. I don't think Pacers fans get mad about this too much. It's not like they're so proprietary and ownership. They're like, no, you can't. No, they got honor his history because in some ways his history is what his body of work was to lead up to being the person he is for them now. They get to enjoy the spoils of him playing for them now, and that he does so many good things to help them out in different ways. I don't see them getting that mad. It's not like Pacers fans are weird. I mean, they may get a little annoyed by Raptors fans being this kind of way with Siakam, but get used to it. It's just he's a GOAT. And as far as I'm concerned, his 43 should be in the rafters someday, just like 15. That's my opinion. Some people can have different opinions, but I'll tell you right now, that man has a championship ring with the Raptors. That man has a championship ring with the Raptors 905. That man has a most improved player award. That man has all-stars. That man has all NBAs. That dude is a jersey retirement for the Raptors. And anybody who's going to argue with me because of this or this or this, you're wrong. It's just the damn wrong. We need to have a few of our ring bearers up there. And 7, 23, and 43 are 3 of them right there. Those are the 3 for sure need to have their jersey retired. Oh, don't even get me started on why Fred VanVleet needs to have his jersey retired. I will tell everybody why. I'll tell them all. That is right. That is right. Let's go. Let's see. Carlos saying, so with Bruno out, now the roster looking so thin. Yeah, I mean, let's look at Indiana, though. That could be very well that can get away with it against them because they don't have a whole lot of depth. Yeah, they're second. They have Miles Turner, of course, to start. And then after that, their depth chart at center is Obi Toppin. Now, Enrique Freeman, how big is he? He may be a bigger guy. He's 6'7". No, he's not that big. So, yeah, they have one center too. So maybe this will be a little fair with Jakob versus Miles. And then after that, it's Mobo versus Obi Toppin. And in some ways, that's a pretty fair matchup, although Toppin's got a lot of experience. And he's been dangerous lately, too. He's scoring a lot for them off the bench. So we'll have to see Jarace Walker. You know, who's going to be their backup center? James Johnson? So in some ways, it's kind of even in this department, even with Bruno out. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that is, man. Monique saying, I'll be there tonight, of course, Raptors versus Pacers. I've been edgy lately, Lex, so that's why I wrote fourth quarter woes like that. Yeah, I mean, I get it. You're exactly right. They're having fourth quarter woes. It's just I don't expect us to get over them. If we do, sometimes it may be lucky or fluke right now. But who knows? It's all in good time. We're going to get back to it, but we can't be thinking like we are the teams before with Nick or with Fred and OG and those guys. This is just a new era with the Raptors. And I hope that we can get past any kind of fourth quarter kind of bullshit and win a game tonight. That'd be fantastic. Let's not get it twisted. I'm totally with you on what you want. It's just that in some ways it's like they have so much they need to learn. It's like watching Shamshe yesterday. It's like, man, he has so much he needs to learn. Well, the Raptors as a collective, as a group, have so much they need to learn also. Just like that guy right there. That's right. Kenyon said, I didn't realize it until a few years ago, Anthony Parker's Candace Parker's brother. I know. This is one of those rare situations. Well, I don't know how rare it is anymore because sometimes this is happening more often. It's like a Cheryl Miller situation. You know, nobody knew who Cheryl Miller was. They did, but they didn't know that her like Reggie. And Reggie will tell you, you go ask him, my sister's way better than me. I was not as good as Cheryl. Cheryl was way better than me, but Cheryl, because she was a women's basketball player, didn't get the spotlight or the shine that Reggie got, obviously. This is definitely the same for Candace and Anthony, except Candace did get more shine than Anthony Parker. Yeah, it is cool. In some ways, that linkage of Anthony Parker and the new open gym coming out is going to be covering the era of Anthony Parker, Jose Calderon, TJ Ford kind of era of the Raptors. I'll be looking forward to seeing if they do mention Anthony Parker in the latest open gym coming out that looks like it features Calderon and Bargnani in it from the preview that I saw. Yeah, that connection's cool. Brian saying at Mo, have a great time tonight. Hope to see the pics you post. There you go. Yeah, Mo, I'm glad you're going to the arena. Bring those good vibes. And so do you, Coach Cool Cat. Going down the game also to see Pascal Siakam and the Pacers play against the Raptors tonight. Hopefully we can break this losing streak and finally win one again. I'd love to do that. Come on, let's do it. Trevor's saying, I like that center from Duke, Kamen Maluk. He is good. Yeah, we'll get the scout on him. You guys have mentioned him at least once before. I remember hearing that name before. Fiercey's here. Good to see Fiercey Salsera holding it down in the Ottawa region of this country in Canada. That's right. Good morning, fam, and happy Monday and game day. Looking forward to seeing Spicy P. Congrats to him for exceeding 10,000 career points. That's right. Milestone for Mr. Siakam. He got his 10,000th career NBA point. That's huge. In some ways, that's the stuff. He keeps going. Next thing you know, he'll be up there like DeMar on the all-time scoring lists. Let's wish health and happiness and goodness to Siakam so that he can continue to accumulate the stats and rise up the all-NBA career leaders charts, just like DeMar DeRozan, who's a top 50 all-time scorer in the NBA's history. You gonna tell me he's not a Hall of Famer, that he's in the top 50 all-time scorers in the history of this entire league? Yeah, he is. He is. All right, let's go do the Instagram stories real quick. We got Slim Duck. He's got some song playing, and he's got the intros and stuff. His life is pretty good. There's some calamari. I don't know why he's got a picture of calamari just sitting there in front of him. And then he's saying, glory to God in the highest. There you go. That's the right attitude. Menu quickly has the picture of him and RJ and Grady coming out of the hotel to go to the game. I forget what game this is. This one game some recently. These guys look like they're in a movie. They look like they're in some sort of movie. And there he's celebrating RJ's triple-double this weekend. Yeah, you didn't see it on Saturday? You're celebrating yesterday? Like at some point, he finally did put up 25, 15, and 10, celebrating his one of his best friends, RJ Barrett's triple-double achievement. Raptors are calling out. All Canadians Inbound Assist is back, and they want you to nominate community organizations that are helping newcomers that come to this country get involved and learn new socially things and have somebody for you. So if you know any organizations that are helping newcomers that come to this country, the Raptors have the Bell Inbound Assist, and they're granting $30,000 grants to these organizations to help them out with what they do. So they did this before. They're doing it again. It's a very good program. So check that out. The Raptors also celebrating the Argos Grey Cup Championship yesterday, putting it up on their Instagram. Dylan Disu has his sisters on blast. They're twins. And they're, I guess maybe they had their birthday or something. And they, you know what, they are not bad to look at. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, Dylan Disu has some twins. If you want to see their twin sisters, I think they're his sisters. They are either his sisters or cousins. But yeah, you can check out Dylan Disu's cousins or sisters. I'm pretty sure they're sisters. I'm not totally sure. But they're Disu's. And yeah, you can see them. Maybe it's their birthday. Siakam's got cool shoes. They're very, very cool blue and yellow. I like that color scheme that the Pacers are using, the neon kind of color, the lighter, weird blue, not the navy blue that they're used to. Yeah, I like this style. And he's got shoes he's putting on blast. So you can get those Siakam shoes. Go and get them. RJ celebrating his triple-double on his. And there's the picture of them coming out of the hotel too. RJ, Emmanuel, and Grady. Those three guys walking out. Davion Mitchell with the young fans signing a basketball in his Instagram stories. And also showing a highlight from the Boston game where RJ drove through the lane and laid it up. Oh, no, that's Davion who did that. And when he posed, like he did the little muscle man pose at the sideline. Yeah, that was pretty good. Miles Burns showing some of the highlights from last night. The pan of the camera for the game, Capital City Go-Go, was horrible. And there's some guy in there, maybe it was the cameraman, Kareem Thomas, who's trying to stand up for it. He said, no, this pan is so good. No, you're jerky. You're making me sick. Jerking all around. And why were we so high up like we're in the crow's nest? We should have been more like level with the playing field because it looked like we were overseers and we're like playing Fallout and we're watching our little people run around in the vault. Like, what was that? Seriously, why can't we get closer to the court? They said this is the best place we could put the camera for this G League arena. Like, what is this bullshit? Get down near the court and shoot it professionally and get your guy to stop being so jerky with the camera. Like, he's like, it was really bad. It was tough to watch. Not just sometimes the way the 905 were playing, just tough to watch because the cameraman can't keep the camera straight. It's true, seriously. And I don't know why that guy was defending it. It's so crazy. Yeah. Matt Devlin showing some of the highlights from the Boston game, too. This one in particular is Grady throwing the alley oop to RJ, which was beautiful in transition. 905 losing to Capital City Go-Go. There's a bunch of highlights and stuff from that game on their Instagram account. Scotty Barnes showing off his Google Plus commercials, Google Pixel commercials with Jack Armstrong. The way they filmed them with the green screen, they could put them in with all kinds of different people. They didn't actually film half those commercials with anybody. They just filmed them and put them in the background with the green screen. And the 905 Raptor, 95, the Raptor, our mascot is going and looking at the statue of the dunk, the Vince Carter dunk, and he's like checking it out and trying to mimic it. So that's kind of cool. I like that little clip. There's your Instagram stories for today. Yeah, Raptors 905 lost to Capital City Go-Go. And that's just how it is. That's just how it is. There you go. All right, let's see. Monique saying, I only been to Mississauga City once, so I have to bring someone with me. I'll send a private message when I can. Yeah, we'll figure it all out for sure, Monique. And we'll make sure. I don't think it'll be hard for us to find each other because, it is 905. It's a different scale of things than the Scotiabank Arena and the buzz that can be for a Raptors game. So we'll have to see. It could be very busy, though. Let's not go lie because 905 games on weekends, when it's a Sunday game like that, it's a lot more family friendly. So I do expect there to be a crowd, a lot better than what was in Capital City Go-Go yesterday, for sure. And but we shouldn't have any problem finding each other. But we'll make the finer details of how we're going to meet up closer to the event. So remember, y'all, December the 8th, Raptor Freak Hangout, official one of the season. We're going to the 905 game against the Westchester Knicks. December the 8th, 2 p.m. start for the game. I'll be down there around 1 p.m. And, I'll hang out before the game and we'll, I'm not even going to do a stream that day, guys. I'm going to do a live stream at the game with you guys talking to people. That will be my stream. I won't do a 9:30 stream. Even if we need to do a reaction or whatever, I'm not going to do it because we'll do a live Raptor Freak hangout stream that day at the game. So that's going to be the choice that I'm doing because in some ways I don't want to do a stream in the morning because it'll get me delayed to get to the game on time for when we need to be there. So yeah, Fiercely saying 905 game was fast paced and overall the execution level was not too great, but I enjoyed watching and believe Carton could have helped. Definitely. Mobo could have helped. Battle could have helped. Carton, Shed, Jacoby. Yeah, there's all kinds of different guys that could have helped. And in some ways, this was the most weakened 905 team we've seen so far. Because in the other games, we had Carlson and Carton for a lot of them. And we're missing those two guys who are a two-way level players. And, the team is very much bare shelved and very much the bare bottom of it right now. That's right. Mike's here. WNBA name idea, the diversity cities. Okay. Cities to represent the other places that will play Toronto, cities of Toronto diversities, the TDCs. That's a weird one, man. That's a weird one. Will they be shortened forms, the cities? Oh, it's the cities, the Toronto cities, the Toronto diversities. I know they announced that the WNBA team for Toronto will be playing home games across this country. They'll be playing games in Vancouver, in Montreal, in Winnipeg, in different places. They're going to have home games across the country because they're going to really want people to get involved in this team nationwide. So that's an interesting idea, Mike. I don't know if it really rolls off the tongue very well, and it may be needed to be explained too much, even if it does seem very self-explanatory. Some people are dumb. They'll be like, what? Diversities? What does that even mean? See, that's why people don't even know what the word diversity means sometimes because they're just so under a rock. But yeah, that's an interesting idea. I don't know how likely it is. Of course, we know they've already kind of decided what the team name is, and they're just not telling us yet. They'll tell us in January. is when they're going to tell us. Brian's saying, hope tonight the young guys can keep the turnovers down and keep proving that they can hang with good teams and keeping the ball run through RJ, Dick, and Yak. Yeah. Yeah. Turnovers down have been better in recent games, especially against the Celtics. You got to think about the Celtics or that kind of team at that level. They usually can cough up some defensive turnovers on us. But no, we handled the ball and we had the same amount of turnovers as they did in that game on Saturday. That's a real testament to things, and that's an improvement. So I like that. You know, Darko did point out a lot of positive things about things that happened with the Boston game, and he's very pleased. In some ways, the thing that we should be most impressed with our team is that we're still keeping at it, even though we're getting a string of losses. That the positivity and the idea and the knowledge that this is the part of the process in the guys, and they're not getting down over it is really important. Because there's other teams that are going to be losing like us, and they won't feel like there's something they're building towards. Well, we definitely do feel like that. And that may be the difference between us and other Eastern Conference teams that are in the cellar, is that we have something that we're going towards that we can see tangibly, especially with injuries coming back, people coming back. That's what I'm saying. All right, let's keep going. Cool Cat saying, I was sick for about a week. Today is my first day back at work and online. Okay, I was wondering where you were, Cool Cat. I'm sorry to hear that you weren't feeling well, and I'm glad to hear that you're feeling better now, because we are very happy to have you around in our chat for sure. I miss the coach when the coach isn't here. Yeah, we've had a lot going on, and man, we're trying to keep up with the fast-paced news of the league because there's always so much going on, Monique saying, Brian, as a regular at games, I'll send a message when I can. We can discuss the chat when it comes to podcasts and the show. That's awesome. So Mo's open to being on To the Point with you, Brian. And I think that, you know, her schedule is very busy. Obviously, she's going to games left and right all over the place. And yeah, I would love to see that episode and see Brian give Monique a chance to espouse her views on To the Point. That'd be fantastic. I'll definitely be like looking forward to that happening, and hopefully you guys can make it come to fruition as soon as possible. We'll have to see, man. That'd be cool. Art by Nullis is here. Our friend in Lithuania is back. The producer of To the Point is back in the house. I'm very honored once again to have your presence in the chat this morning. Good morning, Canada. I would love to see Scotty Barnes playing with the mask in real game. Batman. He's Batman. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, who's Robin? Grady? Grady going to put on the red-breasted uniform with the little mask and be Robin? We got Batman and Robin out there. That'd be awesome. That'd be kind of cool. And RJ can be Superman. We could get all them to be different DC heroes. Yeah, we could do that. Aquaman. Who's going to be Aquaman? Kelly Olynyk's Aquaman? Or I don't know. Maybe who would be Aquaman? I don't know. Hawkman? Who would be Hawkman? Maybe Jakob is Hawkman. Yeah, we could make Jakob Hawkman. Green Lantern is Emmanuel Quickly. Yeah, or Flash. We could make Emmanuel Quickly the Flash. And Green Lantern is Oshai Abaji. How about that? Yeah, we're going to make a Justice League of America with Scotty being the Batman. We're going to make a JLA, y'all. Write them in. Who do you think would be who on the Raptors if they're Justice League America? Yeah, if you know that team, JLA, tell me who the Raptors would be on that. You can write them in. Have some fun. I'll read it, whatever you guys write. It'll be fun. Good to see you, Anellis, once again. And the Raptor Freak chat has returned once again. Of course, he's on a different time zone. So this guy's probably, it's like 5 p.m. for this guy right now. And we're in the early morning of Monday here in Toronto right now. That's right. Good to see you, my guy. Good to see you, man. Brian saying, Mo, you are welcome anytime to my show. My global audience, what a great person you are. There you go. I love that. You know, Mo is such a cerebral, understanding person of basketball. She knows her stuff. And that's the thing that is exciting about having her as a guest, because she's going to tell you some insight, and boom, all of a sudden, man, it'll be a great episode that you'll have. I'm telling you, man. Stargate is here. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. I see something developing with this team that's going to be making this team a very difficult team to beat. However, it may resort in B and M making a DeMar type trade scenario to accomplishment. Ooh, so he's saying it may result in our front office, Bobby and Masai, making a DeMar trade type kind of scenario to accomplish. Oh man, I don't want to do anybody dirty. just as long as they see it coming and they understand it's for the best for them and also for our team. In some ways, we can't do somebody dirty like we did Damar again. Masai, come on, man. Come on. It depends on who it is, and it depends on what it is. In some ways, we don't want to do this. It's business. I get it. In some ways, you got to do these tough things to make things happen. Stargate saying fans will have issue with it at first. Let's just say I see an odd man out at this stage, unfortunately, and it may resort in some shrewd moves by Bobby and Masai to get the next needed piece to level up. I would say this, Stargate. I think you're onto something, but I think you're early. I think you're early. I think that we've got to wait and do a couple of years, and then it'll be more evident, and then they'll do something like this. But I don't think it's now. I don't think it is now. I think it's way, way too early. We got to get the confirmation with the team healthy that they can perform at a certain level, and then really look at the deficiencies then and determine what the right move to change it around to make it work better is at that point. So I say this is a little early for this, but this is probably very likely true. But it may be like in like 2 years now, or maybe a year or two, something like that is what I'm thinking. Something like that. Smooth saying, I look back at the draft grades in Pascal's draft year. Raptors got a D. Can you believe it? Yeah, that's ridiculous considering that wasn't just the only guy we got that year. We got Pirtle also that year. We got Pirtle, Siakam, and undrafted Fred. And they said that we had a D in that draft. That's why this shit doesn't mean jack shit. ESPN can write whatever they want with their rankings and their grades and their bullshit. It doesn't mean jack shit because reality will change. And over time, they'll show this like, yeah, we can go back and go look at all this stuff and we can actually show just how bad they are and how they sewer us no matter what, just because they're going to do it. And this is a great example of this right here. Yeah, D for Siakam, Pirtle. I think we even got around that time, wasn't it, DeLon Wright and Fred VanVleet the same year? That was that draft class, and they're going to say we got a D that year? These fucking idiots. How many? All right, go look at all the other teams and see how many of the draft picks on the other teams are still in the league at this point, regardless of playing at a high level like our draft class is. Like Jakob is playing a career year this year. Fred VanVleet still top of his game. Pascal Siakam better than ever. Okay, D grade. Okay, sure, right. That's why y'all know I have no credibility whatsoever. That's right. Fiercely saying Benedict Mathurin and TJ McConnell are on my fantasy league. I am number 11 in the Raptor Freak fantasy league. That's pretty interesting. All right, let's go look at it since you brought it up. I don't really look at it too much in some ways. We played, didn't we, Fiercely, last week? Didn't we? Yeah, and you beat me. You actually beat me last week, 4-3. Wow, look at Fiercey winning a matchup against the old Raptor Streak this week, 4-3 in the end. That's fantastic. So now you're 12-16. Yeah, good job, Fiercey. This week I am playing Peter. So I got to play Peter Saborin, the champion from last year right now. And Fiercey, you are going to be playing MK's team, the WNBA champion. So keep going, MJ. You are doing really well. You're 12-16. Keep going the way you're going right now. It's fantastic. Cool Cat, you got to wake up again. 3-25. Come on now. Yeah, good job, Fiercey. You beat this guy. Congratulations. You beat me 4-3 this week. She beat me in the fantasy this week. Wow. I just realized that just now, just looking at it. I didn't pay attention to how it all went down yesterday. Mike's saying we're playing just 10 guys for like a month now. Back-to-backs and everything. Mitchell, Grady, RJ, Oshai, Pirtle, Bench, Shed, Battle, Mobo, Boucher, Fernando, and Temple. 905, Shamshay, and Carton. Yeah, I mean, there's tiredness. In some ways, the rookies got to adjust to the intensity and the changes in the NBA game from the college. And, there's ups and downs. There's ebbs and flows and biorhythms and energy. And in some ways, we're going through some of that. And some of it's natural. A 5-game road trip out west will make you tired. That's just the damn truth, especially when they put it around the fallback time change of daylight savings time. Yeah, it's kind of messed up how they did that. Seriously. Randolph's here. Good game day. Blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks, most informative gang. If what you are doing is what's right to do, keep your head up, stay focused, and get the job done. Don't leave it to others to do. Wow. I'm going to espouse on this a little bit. What I will say is that, even if it seems like everybody else is thinking a certain way and it's not right, and it's not right, don't go with them. There may be feelings that the majority is certain this and this because of the election in the states, that it doesn't make what they stand for right still. And it's important for us to stay in our own morals and our own beliefs even if it seems like the mainstream is shifting towards a kind of fucked up reality. In some ways, we have to be the people that stay steadfast in a world where people are getting more and more lied to and brainwashed, like Bradley. And, in some ways, we got to stand tall and in the middle of all this bullshit for what is right, even if everybody's deciding that this new world, it doesn't matter what's right. It's just crooked and corrupt, and you can do whatever the fuck you want. So, in some ways, keep your morals, keep your own self and your ideals strong in this weather, this bullshit that's going to be coming in the next 4 years, because it could be very weird and changing like the dynamics of what reality is, because they want their reality to become more the reality, but it's not. It's a manufactured lie. And that man himself that won the presidency this month is a lie himself, just standing person as a lie. And we cannot allow his reality to become the reality of the world. So let's understand what is right and wrong, and it always has been. And let's not allow them to move the goalposts. Let's just put it that way, to some other place where it's this all of a sudden. And I'm more in the Canadian cowboy every morning right now, because he has been, compromised in this fucked up way. Let's go see what Leo's saying this morning. He's saying, believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there is something inside you that is greater than any obstacle. I love that. Yeah, keep that fight in there and keep going. In some ways, the odds are stacked against the Raptors repeating as champions ever again. But I believe they can, and I know they will. And we will get there again one day. That's right. Thank you for the words of wisdom, Randolph, Trevor, and Leo, and blessings to the Phillips family and all the Raptor Freak families out there. That's what I got to say on that. Jimmy Pope saying Core hasn't even played 25 games together, and people already talking about trades, laughing my ass off. I know. That's what I'm saying. In some ways, it's not the time to do it yet, but it could. I think that Stargate's right, that there will be some sort of trade, and hopefully it's a stabbing trade like DeRozan. It's one that makes sense, and it just fits, and it doesn't have to be so dramatic. But we'll see. We'll have to see how this all goes down. And I'm with Jimmy. We got to let these guys get healthy and get a run of games together to see if it actually works and fits. I think it will. And that's going to be what we're all going to be delighted and happy to see. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. All in its right order. And some people just want to start getting instant stuff, and they think getting instant stuff is firing people or trading people. No, that actually puts us back, and it takes longer to get to the good stuff. So it's like, stay the course with the crew you got on the ship, and stop throwing people off the plank is what I'm saying. Is what I'm saying right now. Yes. Smooth saying Raptors can apply for an injured player exception. That's good. Well, hopefully they go and get a center. They need to go get a center. Seriously, y'all need to go and get a center. And some people say, well, why didn't they just call up Carlson before Thunder did? Well, there'll be somebody else out there, and some people were calling yesterday that we need to get John Butler Jr. from the Capital City Go-Go. That man has extreme length. He's a shot blocking threat. And he's a very good lob threat, too. He's a little bit weak in the middle on the sides with his strength. In some ways, kind of like Carlson. He may be able to be pushed around, but he's been around for a couple of years in the G League. And in some ways, he's got some experience and he's got some real potential. I don't know. Maybe we get a beefier guy like Bruno Fernando, somebody who has more muscle than length. I don't know. We do need to get a 5 if we're going to use this exception that's been granted to us. Stargate saying, I really, really like RJ at the point. He just needs to trust his teammates a bit more and needs to work on his free throws. He's been fantastic. 15 assists is nothing to sneeze at. That is a really, really good passer. And in particular, the work he's doing with our big Austrian center is absolutely phenomenal. The way that they kind of have got a sense, they've got it worked out. There was one pass he did for him on the Boston game where he got it perfect. And I didn't even see it happen because he did it so quick and was like clockwork. And Jakob had it already. He was putting it in. I was like, when did RJ even pass that to him? He did it really like immediately. And there was traffic around with Celtics defenders. So yeah, RJ's been awesome. And then the passing action he's doing off of driving to the lane has been really stupendous lately. Really, really good. Smooth saying, I think the Pacers fans understand the mutual bond we have with Pascal. I hope he puts 50 up tonight, man. You want Siakam to score 50 on us tonight? Oh my gosh. I mean, that may be kind of fun, but not really. That may be kind of fun, but I don't know how fun it would be for us, especially if we lose in a really bad route. Man, 50 for Siakam tonight? I don't know, man. Smooth. I mean, I love Pascal too, but I don't necessarily want to see him drop a 50 piece on us. No, I don't necessarily. I think you're right about the Pacers fans sharing Siakam with us. New York fans may be more proprietary about OG at this point, but they need to understand it's the same thing with him too. There's a lot of history and love for Canada and Toronto with OG Anunoby. He still sees the old reporters like Lindsey Dunn and different people out, and the bonds are still there. OG still has strong connections to us and Masai and the Raptors organization. So, hey, Indiana has more experience sharing superstars with other teams. Not Reggie Miller, because he only played for them, but there's a lot of great Pacers legends in the past that were kind of dubiously in two fan nations as far as splitting time in their careers in different places. I mean, another Indiana Pacer shared with the Raptors is Antonio Davis. Antonio Davis is a storied playoff Pacer that they love a lot in Indianapolis, but also, he's a Raptor who was in the playoffs with the Raptors and Vince also. So, we've had some players we've shared with them, at least Antonio Davis, James Johnson, another one. James Johnson's a Pacer right now, but in some ways, he's always going to be a Raptor kung fu master. Cocked that joint back and banged on him. Yeah, that's right. Right there. There you go. Cool Cat saying Siakam has led the Pacers social channels and number increase. He's led them to increase their social media. There you go. He has a steady high social media count for Pacers. I chuckle a lot. They love his social media postings. Yeah, there you go. In some ways, Siakam's doing a service for the state of Indiana, which can be very, very homogenized white country farm boy kind of Larry Bird people. And, a young man from Cameroon coming in there, broadening their horizons with his culture and his way of, seeing the world is good. It's healthy for that pocket of the world in some ways. In some ways, we know that Nav showed up at one of their games in years past, and they're like, why are there so many, they said some racist shit about our fan nation and diversity and stuff like that. And, Siakam hopefully is giving them some lessons on international people in that state of Indiana. How about that? I like that. Let's keep going. Excuse me. All right. Monique saying, as per Paul Jones, Justine works for the Clippers now. I was surprised. This is better for her, honestly. I'm not surprised by this. In some ways, she wants to get out from underneath the shadow of nepotism, possibly. Her dad probably helped her get into the business with the Raptors. And, she's done good enough work. She can go work for somebody else. In some ways, this is fantastic for Justine Jones. She gets her start with the Raptors and doing what she's doing with social media. Now she can move on to the Clippers. In some ways, then the connection between her and her dad is not going to be used against her. So this is fantastic. This is great for her and her career. And you know what? She gets to go to California and live there now. So it's broadening her horizons and getting away from underneath her dad. In some ways, that's important that this has happened. Brian's saying, Lex, you're right about anyone who argues against Siakam, especially some of those whack Raptor podcasts. Yeah, some people are just haters. Once again, why do we hate our own success? What the fuck is wrong with you Raptors fans? Why do you hate Fred so much, some of y'all? It don't make no sense. Fred's a success story. Fred is one of the greatest success stories in the whole entire history of the NBA, undrafted at under 6 feet and done what he's done. He is a franchise leader for most points in a game. He is a franchise leader for most assists in a game. He is a G League champion. He is an NBA champion. He is an all-star with the Raptors. He has the resume once again also that deserves to get his jersey retired. Just let alone the accomplishments of a man who didn't get his name called by Adam Silver in the draft to do what he has done in his career is a crazy, crazy accomplishment and deserves a jersey retirement. That's what I say about that. I don't understand y'all Raptors fans. Why can't you get behind our very, very good, successful players like Siakam and Van Vliet? What's wrong with y'all? Why do y'all hate yourselves so much that you can't let yourself be a fan of Fred Van Vliet? Why? What's wrong with you? Be a fan of Fred Van Vliet. Seriously, what's wrong with you Raptors fans that aren't a fan of Fred Van Vliet? You need a knock in the head? Maybe a fall on the ground? Oh, I woke up. Oh my gosh, I was so wrong about Fred. All this stupid shit I've been saying the last couple of years about him. Oh my gosh, it's all clearly now. Yeah, you fell down and hit your head on the concrete. Well, good to see a knucklehead got cleared up real quick. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand it, Brian. I don't get it. I don't get why these people are so anti-Fred or Pascal in these weird corners of Raptors fandom. Seriously, I don't get it. Smooth saying a difference between Pascal and Vince is simple. Pascal really wanted to be a Raptor for life, played hard till the end. He's always my guy, always. Exactly. In some ways, y'all be the same people will be dissing Pascal, DeMar, and Fred and just kissing Vince's ass. Kissing Vince's ass. Oh, Vince is so good. I told y'all he's a retired jersey for the Raptors. We should have done this a long time ago. You motherfuckers are like 15, aren't you? You weren't even born when he fucking burned us and did what he did. Seriously, Siakam, DeRozan, Fred, they didn't do jack shit to hurt us like this, like Vince did. And you're so easy to be like, oh, Vince this, Vince that. But then you'll diss Fred, DeMar, and Pascal. You are not real Raptors fan if you're like that. Seriously. If you make fun of DeMar DeRozan after he got traded because you think he's a loser, you are not a real Raptors fan. If you make fun of Fred for being a short little chucker, you are not a real Raptors fan. I'm going to say this to these motherfuckers. And when I come across them in social media, I'm going to say, yeah, you're not a real Raptors fan because you do not celebrate our success. And in fact, you insult it and you denigrate great legends of our team is what I say to them. That's right. That's what I say to them right there. That's right. That's right. Cool Cat's saying, imagine Pascal got 11 shots for 23 points. His three-point shooting is the difference. The team needs to give him more shots. They could have won more games if they did. So you're criticizing the Pacers, saying if they had let him shoot more, boom, that would have been better. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Maybe the Pacers record would be over 500, a little bit better right now if they let Siakam run that team a little bit more. That's right. Monique's saying trades my ass. It's crazy Jimmy. I know. It's crazy Jimmy is making those crazy ass trade ideas. That's right. Crazy Jimmy. Oh, you're talking about Jimmy Pope? No, he's not crazy Jimmy. That's the Pope of positivity. We love him. We love him. That's right. That's right. Cool Cat's saying, hopefully Scotty returns for Siakam next game. Would love to see them meet up on the court, like Fred VanVleet and Lowry on the court meet up. I prefer Siakam yellow, red, Real Madrid sneakers better. Blue, not Raps colors. All right. Personal preferences on the footwear for our Siakam. And yeah, I love that matchup with Scotty. Scotty said Siakam's his favorite in the NBA. He's been the guy that he looks up to the most. And that was true. That was true. And it still is. It still is. Scott says this in his private time. He says it on his Twitch. And that means it's true. He wouldn't lie on his Twitch, right? And when he says stuff on his Twitch, he means what he means. And you need to listen to him. That's right. Infamous is here. Salute freaks. A bit off topic, there was a Canadian girl named Toby Fournier, 6'2", very skilled, and can dunk with ease. You need to check her out, Lex. Wow. I've seen her. I've seen her in a Subway ad with Chris Boucher and Scotty Barnes, actually. They were bowling or something, or there was a Subway event. Yeah, I've heard of her. In some ways, I'd like to see her get to our team somehow, some way in the WNBA when we get our team. That would be fantastic. If they can line things up and get a very high-level Canadian woman to play for the WNBA Toronto team, that would be ideal. That would be very ideal because it would be very like in home. And, you know, we're seeing the benefits of RJ and Kelly and Chris being on our team. I could say there's going to be benefits for college for women's basketball in Canada if young girls have a Canadian woman on the Toronto team that they can look up to and say, wow, that's somebody who did this. And yeah, Toby's perfect. Toby's perfect. If we could get her on our WNBA team, that would be fantastic. Of course, they're speculating the number one pick of the draft is Toby, I think. I'm not sure. They're saying that Dallas got the lottery pick yesterday, right? Dallas, they won the lottery, WNBA Dallas, and they will be picking first. And I think that Toby is speculated as the number one pick. So she may not be available for the WNBA. She may not be. Yeah. Cool Cat saying, yes, Toby Fournier is my favorite upcoming Canadian player, has been following her career for 2 years now. Yeah, we'll have to see where she lands and if there is a possibility. But I'm a little worried that she's very sought after, and she may be one of the top picks next year before we even get to the league, unfortunately. So we'll have to see. There's got to be some Canadian that's going to be on our team at some point that's going to be like the Canadian face of our team, like RJ. And that I'll be looking forward to that for sure. And if it's saying the thing I don't understand, Darko coaching is predicted on ball movement and screens at the high post. So why in the final moments we rely on ISO ball? Why is no one calling this out? Well, I explained this. I've explained it. I explained it earlier today already, and I've explained it a couple times on streams recently. Basically, what it is infamous This is not totally up to the coach. You've got to understand there's players on the court that make the decisions themselves and go off script. And what happens is if you're a young team that doesn't have a lot of talent and doesn't have a lot of experience against the team that does, the other side, they will have ways of getting you out of your system and not allowing you to do the coach's plans. And well, they have to go off script. And half of what RJ's doing in the end, guarding even harder. They're closing up on you even closer, and they're physically like grabbing you and not letting you do a whole lot. So in some ways, RJ taking a jacked up shot, and it seems like he's not listening to the coach. Well, he isn't, because the coach probably does have a play, but that shit gets broken up. It's just like in football. It's just like in basketball. A broken play is a broken play, and you got to improvise. And that's what's happening in these situations. If we get to a higher level of development with our team as a unit, where they can work together, all five, in a very confident way, that they can execute Darko's plays, then we will see this. But in the rebuild and a very young team overall, age-wise, this is what happens. That it denigrates, it just falls apart, and then you're going off script and you're relying on talent and ISO. It's not Darko's fault. It's the other team's defense and the experience of the teams we're playing putting us in a bad place because we're green and we are not experienced. That is the phenomena that is happening here. And anybody who wants to call Darko out for this is stupid, because it's not his fault. You don't think he's giving them a play call that they should be executing, and that the other team is just like reading the challenge and really making it hard for them to do that execution, so we have to improvise. That is what it is right there. And the other thing that can be attributed to some of this also is the fatigue at the very end of the game. You know, at the end of the game is when you're most tired, and then the other team is ramping up and getting even more energy and physicality out of what they're trying to do. So think about that. In some ways, the other team may be playing with a certain level of kind of just going through the motions, but then at the very end of the game, they're ramping it up. A team like the Celtics, well, it's going to make it even harder for Grady to run his screen set system play that Darko wants him to do. Because who knows, Derek White might have grabbed his jersey and didn't let him get around the screen. And then all of a sudden, RJ's not getting the pass to the person he's supposed to, and he has to go and call his own number. That's the phenomena right there, Infamous. And if you want to point fingers, there's no reason to, because it's a whole bunch of stuff all at once. And over time, they'll get more confident and savvy. They'll understand how to execute in these moments better. But right now, we just don't have the experience or understanding of how to do it. And those vets on the other side, well, they're grabbing jerseys, or they're holding, or they're being physical and pushing you out of the way in this way, or they're coming and doubling in this way. In some ways, once again, the Raptors are learning basics and learning how to play together in cohesion on a basic level. Meanwhile, the Celtics are a championship team, and they have a playbook and a shorthand and a time together, Jason and Jalen and a lot of the other guys, that they can do advanced kind of level kind of setting up for stuff. That's why rebuilds suck. That's why they take so long, is because to build up to the point where you're like the Celtics and their championship team right now, it takes time, and you can't take impatience and throwing people out like they're walking the plank, whether it's your coach, your front office, or any of your players. And that's why we got to wait till we're healthy to assess anything correctly. Cool Cat saying, yes, Toby Fournier is my favorite upcoming Canadian player. You have been following her. Oh, yeah, I already read that one. Sorry. Mike saying quickly is the Flash for sure. Yeah, he's the Flash for sure. I would agree with that. Yeah, we'll have to see if you guys have any more. Infamous saying it doesn't make sense to make trades now when the team hasn't really played together. Exactly. Yeah, we don't want to overcorrect before we actually know whether we need to correct or not. That's the thing. We got to find out whether we do have things we need to correct. If there are opportunities that come up and Bobby assesses them to the point where, like, yeah, this would make sense, this will make our team good no matter what, then we trust in Bobby and Masai to do that. But otherwise, it's not like we want to take a whole bunch of calls, because in some ways we need to see what we look like when we're healthy. And that's the most important thing right now. Mike saying Mobo is Cyborg and Grady has that Aquaman swag. You think he's Aquaman? You think Grady's Aquaman? I guess because the blonde hair. You put Grady in an orange shirt and like green flippers, and yeah, he could look like Aquaman. I just thought he's a great Batman, Robin for Batman in some ways. Like Grady as Robin with Scotty as Batman. It's kind of a cool look, because in some ways Grady's a boy wonder. But I mean, Grady beat Aquaman works too. I mean, that's fine with me too. You remember that on Super Friends when Aquaman would do the telepathy to the aqua creatures? Dolphins, help me! Dolphins, come help me! Help me, dolphins! Aquaman! I'm talking about Super Friends this morning. That's fun, man. That's fun. Yeah, let's see. Mike's saying maybe Pirtle is Aquaman and Grady can be Superman. No, I think if you're gonna have the main DC characters, got to be Scotty and RJ, and Scotty's Batman because of the mask. Then RJ's got to be Superman. Even if Superman is such an American icon, well, you know what? Here's a little fun fact, guys. Did anybody know this? That Superman was created by a Canadian. Did y'all know this? This is true. A Canadian man created the character Superman, an American icon that is very much put everywhere. This is absolutely true. That there is a Canadian man that created the character Superman. It's true. It's the absolute truth. You can go ask. Shaq probably doesn't even know this. Oh, you're telling me that Superman was created by a Canadian guy? What? What? That's true. Just like the basketball was created by a Canadian also. So know your roots. And there you go. There you go. Mike's saying, Monica's saying, W stream, W vibes, go Raptors for life. Keep at it always, Lex. The Raptor Freak crew strong forever. Let's try and stay positive. That's what I'm trying to do. But I got to stay realistic also. All right. Trevor's told me it's classic card time. That's right. That's right. That's right. Let's see. 10:38 is the time on the chart. So I'm going to make sure we get back to 10:38 and get the comments. All right. Here's our classic card. It's not so classic, but we'll play. All right. Here we go. First person to write in the full name gets the classic card points. Who is that? It's kind of shiny. It's kind of hard to see. Maybe you can't see it from where it is, but let's see if we get a guess in there. Who is that? 9:38 is when I got to go back to. Yeah, make a guess, and I'll give you a clue. If you're wrong, if you get it, well, you get it. This is a mosaic card. It's a newer card, obviously. It's shiny. This is like the modern day Skybox card. Fancy graphics behind it. Alex Lynn. I love that you think that's Alex Lynn. That's hilarious. Mike has got it. It is Porzingis, the guy who did not play against us on Saturday for the Celtics. It is on Dallas. Kristaps Porzingis is the card, and Mike is going to get it. Mike gets it. I'm going to give you 100 for this one. It's not a really hard card, but yeah, you get 100 for it. Where's my classic card score list? Where is it? I need that right now. Where is it? Here we go. We'll write it in. We'll see if David's lurking. Is David lurking? He's doing a good job updating. Even though David's not present in the chat, David is doing a great job as the commissioner. There he is. He wrote it in. Look at this. He's right on it. David is on it today. That's what I'm saying. David's not participating in the chat as much, but he is still doing the fantastic work as the trivia commissioner, updating the scores and giving us the trivia standings in the comments afterwards. David, I appreciate you, man. And thank you for doing that job still. You know, it's awesome. And we will get back to writing trivia together very at some point. It may not be very soon, but yeah, Mike, good job. 100 points. Kristaps Porzingis, classic card of the day. And David is here, man. St. David is around, y'all. Just so y'all know. All right, let's see. All right, Stargate saying, Lex, you see what I am seeing, aren't you? Laugh out loud. Also to add, I have said this before. If Scotty can be more of a Tim Duncan and less of a Magic Johnson, nobody in the league can stop him. Yes, I'm gonna give you a dunk for this. I love this. The comparison of Scotty to Tim Duncan is lost on a lot of people, but they don't understand team defense, and the body frame of Scotty's is not that far off from Tim Duncan's. And in some ways, I'm going to give you a 10-pointer, 98 dunks for Stargate on that one. If he can play team defense and help defense and rebound like Tim Duncan does, he could be the winning percentage that Tim Duncan has. And that's the thing that Scotty has to understand. Now, sure, that Magic Johnson passing is not going to go away. His very high level passing. But if he gets more oriented as a true forward center, like that kind of stuff that Tim Duncan does, watch tons of Tim Duncan, Scotty, and mimic the hell out of him, because that's winning basketball. That's a winning player, one of the most winningest players in the history of the NBA. And I'm telling you, you can't go wrong being more like Tim Duncan, Scott. Seriously. And the thing about Tim Duncan is his presence on team defense was so helpful, and such a good job with Popovich and the Spurs for so long. You're right on the nail, Stargate. Switch and go study the big fundamental. Seriously, do it, Scott. Just do it. Don't ask any questions. Become more like Duncan. It's very much the right thing to do. That's right. Cool Cat saying I'm forever in 16th to 19th place. Laugh out loud. I'm trying hard to be competitive. Well, you're doing okay. I mean, you're doing better than last year. You were around the bottom, of the completely bottom of the league. But you know what? You just keep at it. You'll get some victories here and there, and just keep adding. Even if you win like 2 or 3 categories and you still get lost in the week, that's still getting those points added to your overall score. So you want your overall record for the end of the year to be pretty good. And this league, I think you have to be the top 8 to make the playoffs. So 12 teams will not make the playoffs. So you want to be in that top 8. So you want to rise up in your ranking for sure. Carlos saying if the young Raptors play tonight like they did with Boston, they will win tonight. Third win alert. I'd love to see that. We got to play ethical, clean basketball. Lower the turnovers, make your free throws, and keep on them defensively. I think that the thing that's been the key in the last couple games for the defense for the Raptors has been staying at home, staying one-on-one with players and not trying to double so much. It was extremely effective against the Celtics on Saturday night. That's something that people said before the game. I think it was Leo said that the Raptors would be smart to not try and come with doubles because that's where they'll beat you by the pass out and the open man for 3 somewhere else. So stay at home, Raptors. In some ways, if we can play a stay-at-home defense on the Pacers tonight, we may have a real good shot because they're playing a very good one-on-one defense with the right matchups of the right people on each other. Now, I didn't like seeing Davion Mitchell trying to guard a Keita or a Cornet in the corner in the post on Saturday night. Whenever that mismatch happens where Mitchell is down low in the post trying to guard somebody, that needs to be switched. That somehow they're getting that mismatch of size. We don't need that because that's real easy baskets for the other team. So watch out how Mitchell's getting switched on to people. I would say that to Darko. Yeah, watch out on that. That's right. Stargate saying, that's right. I'm Jimmy. You're Jimmy? No, Jimmy Pope is here. He's Jimmy. Who's Jimmy? I don't know. There's a singer named Jimmy who makes an album. Go look up Jimmy on YouTube and watch some of his videos. He's awesome. Jimmy is really good. He's a recording artist. Just look up musical artist Jimmy and listen to some of his songs. Seriously, you'll be happy. He'll make your day better. Seriously, Jimmy. That's right. Mike saying, infamous, Darko talked on the issue a bit. He said they are top locking. Yeah, the half court sets in the fourth, and Grady has to learn to open lanes, etc. Yeah, they changed this assignments and how they're dealing with Grady, and it's been very effective. Top locking him. That's right. He went on about this last week in one of the practice interviews, saying that now we need to do adjustments to free Grady back up again, and to understand that this is the natural progression of a young player who emerges as a threat as an offensive player, that they're going to key on him. And now we have to make adjustments to free him again out of what they've decided they can do to effectively try and stop him. Well, that's just all this league is a league of adjustments and making things change to try and fix this, to get that, back to that. And that's what's going on with Grady in particular. Matt E's here again. Good to see Matt back in the chat again this morning. I'd rather have short-term failure with long-term success than long-term failure for short-term success. Exactly. In some ways, that's why we need to do this correctly with the steps right in the right order. Because if we try to rush this in a certain way, it won't take, and we won't get that lift off like we did in the early 2010s with DeMar and Casey and Lowry. In some ways, we had to do it a certain way to get there the right way. And we have to do it again that way. And impatient fans, I'm going to tell them, go watch the Leafs. Go get into other sports. Maybe be a turncoat and follow one of the other NBA teams more strongly and get behind them. Like I may be more like, rah, Spurs for the end of the year when things are getting closer to the end of the season. But whatever you need to do, stop trying to microwave what the Raptors are doing with their process of a rebuild and just let it go the right way, because it will take way better and for much longer, like what happened when Masai showed up and first started running the Raptors. He didn't have success right away. We had to go through it a little bit in the beginning. And, well, we started to see success, and we built on it, and we built on it, and built on it, and boom, Eastern Conference semifinals, Eastern Conference finals, NBA finals championship. That's what we got to do. Matt is exactly right. Those are wise words from Matt E. right there about trying to do things quickly. Well, it's not going to last. This is what I'm going to say. Kareem saying TNT Sports and the NBA have reached an agreement. If I don't know the details, but it has a picture of them all together. Today's a beautiful day. Yes. I'm going to tell you what it is, Kareem, right now. The inside the NBA crew is going to survive. Since Amazon has taken the contract and TNT will not be involved in covering the NBA anymore, well, they will be under the umbrella of ABC, ESPN. They're going to utilize the inside the NBA crew, but they'll be produced by TNT under ABC, ESPN. So the ABC, ESPN broadcast will have Charles and Kenny and Ernie and Shaq. This is fantastic. In some ways, we were worried about this going away after the season. Well, it won't, because ABC is going to keep them on their broadcast. They're going to be the dudes for them, and it will still be produced by Turner. So it takes all the boxes and checks them. Charles and Ernie don't have to deal with other people because they'll be under Turner still, but they'll be there under Turner for ABC. So that's the arrangement. We're not losing that great broadcasting crew, that Emmy nominated and winning broadcast crew. They will be back on those channels instead. It'll be a little weird. It'll be kind of like, that doesn't make sense. I'm used to them being on TNT. On TNT, yeah, but no, they'll be on ABC, and it'll be a little weird. Hopefully, it won't be too different. Hopefully, they'll be able to keep the feel the same, even though sometimes things transfer from channels. Sometimes a TV show gets dropped by one channel, and the other channel say, "Oh, we'll pick this up, Breaking Bad, and put this on AMC." That kind of stuff can change shows sometimes. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how it changes inside the NBA now that it'll be on ESPN. At least the right people will be on top of it and in charge of it still to help old heads like Ernie and Charles go through the transition. Because in some way, Charles Barkley ain't trying to go deal with some new jackasses and executives around their TV channel and ESPN. No, I want to talk to my old bosses. Only those guys. Those are the guys that I like and respect. And I don't want to come talking to some ABC Disney jabronis. So my boss is still a TNT person. I'll be happy. That's basically probably why TNT is still going to produce their part right there. Trevor's saying, I think all three guys should run the offense together during the games. I mean, that's part of the strength of the Raptors is if we have so many different ball handlers and different passers, as long as we have defined roles and actions, we can have the other team guessing every time we come down the court with Emmanuel, Scotty, and RJ healthy. And Grady in there too. They don't know where it's coming from. That's one of the things about having not a totally defined superstar that's absolutely a dominant guy that they can key on. In some ways, if it's like coming from all different guys, well, that keeps them guessing, and it makes our offense maybe have a little bit more chance to be more successful because there's so many holes in the boat that defense that's guarding us has to plug up. And that's a strength for the Raptors. Honestly, I think in some ways having all those different guys be able to do different things on the offense like that. Yeah. Cool Cat saying, no, Pascal won't do that 50 piece to us. His heart is still with the Raptors fans. And also equal opportunity offense won't allow that. So she's saying Rick Carlisle's way of doing things is not going to allow Siakam to feast that much. And in some ways, they're not punitive guys. Rick Carlisle is a nice guy. And like she said, Pascal wouldn't do that to us. He wouldn't do that to us. Although, it would be a homage. I don't know. I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening probably because of what Cool Cat said, as far as Carlisle's system is very equilateral, equal to everybody. Equity. There's a lot of equity there. Let's see. Stargate saying other teams seem to have a real issue with the Raptors having a big point guard. They're accustomed to our short point of attack players and have real issues adjusting to RJ. Yeah, I like that. And when Scott does it too, it's a real force and speed with size. They have real put on their heels. That's something we forgot about. That the beginning of the season, Scotty came out gangbusters, and he was putting defenses on their heels by coming down so quickly with force and making them have all kinds of issues and nightmares. That's what I can't wait to see again. Scotty, come back with that mask and put them on their heels is what I'm talking about right there. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with that. Infamous saying the problem with Mitchell is his passes are too fast and hard. He put too much of a spin on the ball, which makes it hard for Yak and others to catch sometimes. The passing has been a little problem at sometimes. Sometimes they're throwing them too half-assed, and players are getting the passing lane and stealing the ball from us. There's also been some passes that seem to sail up high too much. Shed and Mitchell have both done these at times where they're trying to throw the ball into the baseline where somebody's cutting, and they throw it over their head. There was a pass that was thrown to Mobo the other day, and he absolutely stretched his arms and jumped to get it from stopping it from going out of bounds. That in some ways needs to be reined in. and done a little bit better for sure. The passing needs to be more pinpoint. And in some ways, I would say right now, with the healthy team that's on the court right now, RJ's the best pinpoint passer in some ways because he's passing in lanes with bounce passes, and I don't even see them happening. And all of a sudden, Jakob's putting a shot up. So, yeah, it's tough. Davion Mitchell, Jamal Shed, definitely, because he's a rookie. They have to understand. I mean, Jamal Moore, I'm not talking about Davion right now. He needs to understand what it takes to pass the ball around and what you need to do in this league and really find those targets. Yeah, Mitchell in some ways has been I get it with those hard, fast passes. Scotty's really guilty of them too when he's healthy. He'll throw a pass and nobody's looking. Like sometimes they throw the ball at Jakob. He's not ready. In some ways, eye contact is an important part of passing. No look passing can be fun and like kind of cool to see. But if they don't looking either and it bounces off the back of their shoulder, that's no good. That's no good right there, is what I say right there. Yeah. Let's see. Trevor's saying inside the NBA, well, beyond ABC and ESPN next season. Well, beyond. Yeah, you're saying well beyond. Like, I know it's the way it translates for you. It will be on. Yeah, that's what we're saying. Smooth saying Mark Jones gets a thumb down from me. That guy is a biatch. Wow. You're talking about the uncle of Justine, the younger brother of Paul Jones, Mark Jones, NBA cover since the 80s, honestly. That dude was doing the dunk show when he was in his early 20s, in the early 90s and stuff, and doing the highlight show. Man, Mark Jones was doing the NBA Fantastic show nationwide in the States back in the days. Now he's a primary broadcaster for the Sacramento Kings. Yeah, in some ways, he's a secretly Canadian guy. I've seen him talk up Canada at different times and reminiscing about the Jones boys and their days getting patties and running around the streets of Western Toronto near, Spadina, or not Spadina, near Bathurst and overall near that area over there. Yeah, in some ways, Mark Jones is a turncoat, but I don't know. What did he say specifically? Why are you mad at him right now? I want to know. In some ways, he's been okay lately, but at times I've been mad at him at times, for sure, for turncoat kind of things on his country. That's right. Infamous saying, I was listening to the Celtics broadcast, and they said it would be ridiculous for the Raptors to get rid of Yak. So I scratch my head when I hear people want him traded. He who shall not be named, shaking my head. Well, once again, we need to stop listening to a lot of the social media people because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And Robert Pensair is a good example. In some ways, this dude has been just chaotic for Raptors Nation. He's put out anti-Fred shit like crazy in the last couple of years. He was anti-Dennis. He's anti-Pascal to a certain extent. It's just, and the sad thing is people really get behind him and start following him and all the bullshit he says. Once again, I'm the antidote. In some ways, I'm trying to do my part to clear the air and get this right. But there are so many other channels that have crazy ass ideas, whether it's Raptors Digest, whether it's Luca Rosano, whether it's Amateur Hour. There's a lot of different channels out there espousing ideas. And it's funny because Jakob seems to be one of the main people that they like to bandy around as far as this dude needs to be traded or this. And it's like, yeah, they're idiots. And you're exactly right. If Brian Scalabrine understands how important Jakob is to our team and our own social media creators don't, you're idiots. Because Brian Scalabrine is an idiot, but he's right on this one. I'll say that right now. Cool Cat saying, happy that our young Raptors alumni are doing well. Siakam, Fred, OG. Fred is doing a great job in Houston, too. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Don't believe the hype. You know what's weird? Fred haters are there, too. There's certain people in the Rockets nation that are acting like the Raptors nation that hated him. And they have the same excuses. It's like, I really feel like there's a disconnect with the younger generation and understanding what good basketball is. Seriously, I really feel like there's a disconnect. There's certain things that they value that are ridiculous and certain things that they think are so important that are not as important. And the shooting the threes thing is one of them right there. And in some ways, they don't like the way Fred chucks it or does this or that. I don't get why people hate Fred so much. Basketball is a game where you either shoot to make or miss. And Fred is one of the guys that has a big cojones that is willing to go in there and shoot the ball to make or miss and try and win games. And he is a proven winner. He has won at a lot of different levels. He was very successful in his college career with the run that he went on with his college team in the Final Four, like not in the March Madness. And then also he's been a winner as at both levels in the NBA, at the G League and in the NBA. So I don't get this. I don't get this. Why do you hate a winner? Why are you so mad at him, Rockets fans that are like the Raptors fans before? Why are you so uneducated and not understand that Fred VanVleet is a good player to have on your team? Why? What is wrong with people? Seriously, I don't get it. Jimmy saying trades are part of the game, but to call for a trade when said core hasn't even played a quarter of a season is foolish. Exactly. Exactly. It's not time to do that kind of stuff. It's not time to throw the coach out either. Some people are just like, oh, they see the record. They're like, Darko's got to be fired. Wait a second. He hasn't had a healthy team yet. And he's been on a ship that has had so much tumultuous change and injuries and all kinds of stuff the whole entire time he's been the Raptors coach. And in some ways, we've seen really good success and signs that he's doing a fantastic job, if not for winning. And the other thing is, it's only certain people that have a problem with Darko. It's not Masai and Bobby. Masai's very openly said they're extremely pleased with the job that Coach Rajakovic has done. The broadcast team, who seem to know stuff because they're former players like Leo Routens and former coaches like Jack Armstrong and Alvin Williams, they are saying that Darko's doing an extremely good job and that they're really impressed with how he's held things together. Why are there just idiots out there that aren't listening to the people that know what the fuck they're talking about, like Leo and Jack and Alvin? And, even the front office is telling us themselves, we're very pleased with what Darko's doing. They're not giving us any nods that they're pissed off at him for what's happening. No, I don't get it, Jimmy. I don't get it. I really don't. Smooth saying, I can tolerate Paul, but I prefer Sherman Hamilton. Yeah, Paul Jones is awesome, man. I have more and more of affinity for Paul. In some ways, he's gone through tough times in his life, and he's a better person for it. And he's shining like a bright star at this point. And I love the connection of him and Eric Smith. The Smith and Jones podcast is top notch. They've had very good guests on it recently. And, Paul Jones just knows his stuff. He's a day oneer. We have to respect this. This man's been around our team for the 30 years, and he's been around all the players, and he's known them. And he's just, as much as Doug Smith and Leo Routens are important day oneers for the Raptors and the media, Paul Jones is also. And I give him a lot of respect. Sherman Hamilton maybe has a better personality in some ways as far as some of the stuff and way he carries himself. But Paul Jones, let's not deny the basketball knowledge and excellence of broadcasting that he has been. The other thing we got to remember about Paul Jones is that he was a teacher and a principal for a huge majority of his broadcasting career. He was doing double duty, and he would miss games. He would be at schools being a principal and being a teacher for kids and still covering the Raptors games at the same time. And that's a lot of hard work and a lot of hours. And it's kind of pulling himself in different directions. Think about it. The dude was doing road trips and he was still managing to do the announcements for his school in the morning. So there's a lot to respect about Paul for sure. Sherman Hamilton, a great Canadian basketball player that played for our country. And we have a lot of respect for him also. Cool Cat saying, I have a feeling Pacers coach are using the regular season to develop the youngins for a playoff run. Siakam said the preparation is for the team to peak in the playoffs. I love that. Listen, guys, take care of the NBA Cup. Do well like you did last year. Like y'all did really good in the NBA Cup last year. Do really good in the playoffs. I am rooting for Siakam and the Pacers. You will not find an enemy in me. I want y'all to be one of the top teams in the East, and if not, the NBA champion this year. So you go, Rick Carlisle. You go, Benedict Mathurin. You go, Pascal Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton. That's right. And most limiting my comments now, y'all. So please respect the producer. And because I am over a time right now at this point. Stargate saying, Lex, of all the years I've been posting here, how often have you ever seen me mention anything about trade? Almost never. I simply mention a possible scenario based on recent developments. That's all. Yeah, no, I think that you're right in your initial comment that there will be some sort of shakeup trade, like a DeMar trade, maybe hopefully not as poisonous or toxic. And hopefully it'll be very good for our team and get us to the next level. I think you're right. In some ways, that's the finishing move of Masai, is to do something astounding, like a big, huge move with superstars. And that gets us over the top. It was evidenced with the Kawhi trade. So I don't think you're wrong. I just think that it's a little premature to predict this and happening anytime soon, is what I would say. Smith saying Jakob is a top 5 center. You can't trade him. Toronto is already guaranteed a top 10 pick in a very deep draft. That's enough. I like that. Yeah, likely a top 5 pick in my opinion. Yeah, I think that is likely depending on our trajectory right now. If we start getting out of the mud and we start winning more, the Eastern Conference is weak. We could make some real headway up the standings in the Eastern Conference and it could change things very quickly. But the way it looks right now, we're on line for a top 5 pick. And yeah, I think Jakob at 20 million is a steal. And in some ways, he's been absolute essential and maybe our most valuable player this year. Seeing Scotty and Emmanuel are out, and RJ is really important too. But in some ways, Jakob is very most for us right now, is what I'm saying. Infamous is saying, I'm not buying that excuse, Lex. When it's a young team, you need to run plays. Teams have secondary plays when the first play is broken up. As a coach myself, we had secondary plays. My criticism is not hate. I mean, it's a valid point, and I want to discuss this fairly with you. I'm not saying, I'm just saying that you can say that's an excuse, but once again, like at any level, when you hit a new level of competition and size and strength, it's shocking. And it may make you real. It may make you kind of get discombobulated a little bit. Then you just don't know what to do. And panic can set in. And in some ways, that is what I'm trying to say right now. You can say, yeah, they could have this secondary play, but if the defense, like a championship team like the Celtics, is really closing shop up and really shutting down because it's closing time in the game, and they know from experience what it takes to really stymie a team. Well, a young team that doesn't have a lot of experience passing off each other and doing this will do this. It's just a phenomena. I mean, you can say it's an excuse and you like, yeah, they should have the backup plan and they should execute this. Well, maybe the backup plan is RJ, call your own number and try and beat them with a big shot over them. I mean, he did make a big shot over them at the last second of the 24-second clock on Saturday. It wasn't at the end of the game, but he proved that he has those chops to make a very difficult shot that is not next to the three-point line with the defender in his face. So, I mean, the other thing is that, the possibility is what the outcome is either you make or you miss the shot. And, Grady taking some of the shots he took at the end of games recently, they could have easily dropped. And those shots were good. You live and die with the shots that Grady got in the Detroit game because in some ways they were wide open and that was the right call. And that was actually a play where RJ drew and kicked. He went down the lane and he got the ball to Grady and he was in the corner and he just missed the shot. And how often when Grady has been open in that shot does he drain it? So in some ways, that's the argument right there is like, okay, RJ drove and kicked to Grady, but Grady missed the open shot. That's not a failure. That's just that he didn't make the shot. He got a good look. That's the other thing we got to understand is it's not just making the execution of the play like you're harping on right now. It's that these guys have to have the experience of being in that high pressure situation and taking on all that pressure and successfully making the shot. So Grady learned something this week with taking big shots at the end of the game and missing both of them in that one particular game. Well, next time it happens, maybe that shot goes in. And in some ways, none of the criticism is valid because he made it. So that's a big part of it also. It's like making or miss the shot. To me, what I'm looking at in these kind of situations is, are they getting a good quality shot opportunity? Because that's the thing that's important. And sometimes they're not. They got to jack up something like half-ass, throwing it, lofting it because they're really smothering with their defense. But if they get an open shot and we just miss it, well, they'll make it at some point is what I'll say on that. Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying, man. And that totally makes sense, Infamous. And it is an excuse. But once again, I'm trying to illustrate whole sides of it, that it's not just like criticize the coach for not getting them to execute the play. I have to describe the scenario and the settings for other people. And maybe at different levels of coaching, it's easier to get around this. I mean, I found that at lower levels with kids that are not that skilled or talented, it devolves into chaos very quickly anyway. It really does. Stargate saying a possible scenario based recent developments as well as historical evidence of how this front office operates. GM always thinks 3 steps ahead. I never said trade tomorrow or next month. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that you did. I'm just saying that in some ways it's a little early for this kind of thinking. But I get it, man. In some ways, I'm not attacking anybody, guys. You guys, we have different opinions on slight things. I think it's semantics, but I think we all are on the same page overall for the most part, is what I'm saying. I think this is just a slight change of words or something like that. Yeah, I'm not saying that you said that we need to do it right now. I'm just saying that it's a kind of a little early before we see the team healthy, is what I'm saying. Cool Cat saying Scotty getting injured every year is so tough for the team. I was thinking he could watch Siakam, Mikhail games to see what they do that don't result in annual injuries. Aggressive but smarter play. You know, it sucks that Scotty has been hurt a lot more recently, and that has not been good for our team for sure. That has definitely been a problem, and that's why I want him to get healthy and not miss another game for the rest of the year, so that he can still qualify for postseason awards and a uptick in his pay. And that is definitely a carrot in front of him that he is thinking about, guys. And that is one of the great things that the NBA changed, is that this whole 65 game rule is in effect. This will be a real light the fire under the players' asses to get out there and be healthy and play. They're more likely to tell the trainer, I'm anxious to get back out there because I'd like to get back out there. And even if I'm not totally 100%, I need to be back out there because I want to try and get my incentives. And that's a good thing right there. That's a good thing right there. Yeah. Dap to David. I like it. Kareem saying, I see the work Yak has put in during the offseason. It's on full display on the court. He's the veteran who is showing the standard here. I'm just worried about his durability. He's our only true center. Well, like the injury to Scott last year, both of those injuries to him and Yak were flukes. They weren't kind of like normal injuries. It's like fingers getting bent back in weird ways. No, we don't want any more injuries. Definitely to this guy too. Now, talking about how much work Jakob's put in the offseason, Darko said it too, that he worked really extremely hard. And I was like wondering what was going on with Jakob this summer. He was in Austria, a lot of it. He did his camp there. And well, he did put in the work. And I want to say once again, here's a victory for Darko Rajakovic. Jakob Pertl is going to be in his 10th season next year. He's not been in this league for a short time. He's been around for a while. And to see this kind of leap in this year of the season, well, what is the new factor? It's Darko. And Darko's able to get a vet like him to develop to new heights and new things. That's fantastic. Think about this. He was with Popovich for 5 years. Popovich is one of the greatest coaches in the history of the NBA, for sure. But it seems like Darko developed Jakob better in the year and a half he's had him than Popovich did in the 5 years he had him. Think about that. And there's a little bit of a truth bomb for some people as far as like if they're being critical of Darko. Talk about Jakob and the gains he's made this year at this point in his career, and how much does Darko's direction and coaching and development has added to that. Seriously, Oshai, we can talk about them. We can talk about Grady and how much these guys have grown in the last year. Well, Jakob has too, even at this state in his career. It's crazy. Yak, top 5 center propaganda. Let's keep going with that. I'm all about it. David's dapping in. There you go. There's the commissioner of trivia, David Saborin. Good to see him in the chat again. Mike's saying, I was going to write Tingus Pingus. Well, you need to watch out. You know you can't make jokes. The classic card is not a joking matter, Mike. You need to write it full name answer. If you half-ass me, well, you might get seagulled. That's the way it goes right there. There's a dap for David from Carlo. I love it, man. And Cool Cat saying, damn, my playoffs is at risk. I will review my strategy. Yeah, you got to get your team out of the mud if you want to play in the playoffs. That's for sure. Cream saying, I hope Scotty tries to implement RJ's game. RJ is exactly what I want Scotty to be like, just the pocket version. I like that. You know, I think that if RJ rubs off his intensity and like tenacity and competitiveness on Scotty, that'd be fantastic. Scotty can get to those new levels. You know, you want to be around teammates that are good for you, that rub off on you in the right way. And RJ is definitely a kind of guy that could rub off on Scotty in certain ways that would make Scotty get to another level. Seriously, because in some ways, Scotty has way more talented skills than RJ does. And RJ's working with what he's got. Well, Scotty, get the best out of what you've got because you're looking at what RJ does, is what I'm saying right there. Seymour saying, what pop, fam? What's up, Calgary? Checking in. We got the Alberta province checking in with our sheriff, the Seymour Pape. That's right. David saying at Cool Cat, despite the overall score, our match last week was very close in several categories. Well done. Keep at it. There you go. You're getting kudos from David, a fantasy basketball master. He's very, very good at fantasy sports. And, well, he's giving you some encouragement. Keep your head up. There you go. Smooth saying top 5 center is what he does within his limitations is elite. Yeah, Jakob has some limitations. Let's not go lie. And that's why maybe some people hate him, is because, we want perfect centers that can do everything, all of it. Yeah, those don't grow on trees. And there's probably just a handful of them in the league. But with what Jakob is doing, his career high in scoring, almost 2020 game the other night that was robbed from him, I'll take it. In some ways, a center needs to be a center and not necessarily a 3-point shooting cat from bodega kind of shit. That's what I'll say right there. I would take, some people may go crazy on this one. I'd rather have Jakob Pertl at my starting center than Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah, I'll say that. And somebody might be like, what? What? Well, you're more likely to win with Jakob as your center than Karl Anthony Towns. I'll say that. I'll say that. And people will be like, what are you saying, Lex? You're crazy. He shoots threes. Yeah, that's part of it, right? Why I would rather have Jakob right there. That's right. Feel better now. I will see how to fine tune. I look at rostered stats and most minutes per game and points. Those 3 data points guide my decisions. Yeah, definitely want players that are getting minutes so they can accumulate the stats. So minutes per game is important. And also keeping on top of who is hurt and out and switching your lineup accordingly. That's very important. Davidson, I like bigs that can hit free throws and guards who play defense. Points don't matter. Efficiency far more important. There you go. David's doing a little fantasy basketball clinic right now, giving you guys some good pointers and tips here. I like that. David, you're getting a dunk for returning to the chat and making your voice heard once again. I know you're a very busy guy, and in some ways you don't like the losing of the Raptors, and in some ways that is part of the reason why we may not have seen David as much, because he's highly competitive and being around a lot of losing is not fun for him. 300 dunks for you, David. You're right square at 300 right now. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. Hi, David from Monique. I like to see that. Carlos saying, laugh out loud at the Charles Barkley impression. You like that? You saw that I kind of did a little bit of his voice. Yeah, I love Charles, man. Charles is one of my favorites of all time. Adriana was here yesterday, and I got out the old NBA Live 96 game. It's the first video game the Raptors ever appeared in. Damon Stoudemire, Ed Pinkney, Willie Anderson, Oliver Miller, Jean Tabak are in the game, and they're on the Raptors roster. And I was playing against Adriana, and she had Charles Barkley on the Suns. And it was so funny to see his little bald 34 run around the court. And she actually got some baskets with him. I was really impressed with her. She was humoring me. Now, that game's so much fun. Like, I get Willie Anderson to bomb threes like crazy. I only play as the Raptors. And that team has not got very many guards. It's got like Tracy Murray, Willie Anderson, and Damon Stoudemire. And then the rest of them are all like AC Earl, Tony Massenberg, Jean Tabak, Oliver Miller. It's crazy. It's like all big guys. And so I figured out how to shoot threes with all of Willie Anderson, and I just bomb them. It's so much fun. In some ways, that game is more fun than the current NBA games that are so realistic and like 2K and all that kind of stuff. It's so archaic. It's 30 years old, and it's the first ever video game that the Toronto Raptors appeared in as an expansion team. I'm so proud I have it, and it's been a lot of fun to play it recently. But yeah, Barkley's in the game as a secret player. He's not actually in the game for licensing reasons, just like Jordan. And you have to go into the player create mode, and you have to put in their last name, and they magically appear then. Bloop, 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 and there's Charles Barkley all of a sudden on your screen. They got a lot of old legends that way. And a lot of the rookies, too, were done that way. Stoudemire was not put in the game originally. They put him in later, and you got to put in his name, and then he comes in automatically then. Very, very cool game. I highly recommend NBA Live 96 on Super Nintendo. If you can play it at this point, it's history. 30th anniversary of the Raptors. Will play as the Raptors in their first ever game that they were ever included in video games. And, of course, the Grizzlies are in there, too. It's so fun. Infamous saying, I predict a win tonight. The Pacers is horrible on defense. If you lock in, we can squeeze this one out. I like this. I like this. I like what y'all are saying. All right. Well, we're so close. We're getting closer. Maybe this is the night where we finally get on the win column again. I'm all about it. Trevor's saying, got my tickets yesterday for a Knicks and Raptors game. All right, there you go. Trevor's going to be going to a Knicks Raptors game in New York, I'm pretty sure. He's not going to be coming here. Carlos saying, he who shall not be named is also anti-Davion Mitchell. Oh, that's too bad. Well, maybe I'll just have to stand up for Mitchell more often just to counterbalance the bullshit coming from Penn State basketball. Yeah, maybe I will. You know, Davion's had a great assist-to-turnover ratio for the most part. I wish his offense would go up. But you know what? He's showing signs of making those open threes again. And I'm all about that. Smooth saying, a guy from Toronto laughing at Toronto. No, man, you don't do that. That's right. That's right. Why do you do that? Why are you laughing at our team? Why are you making fun of us? In some ways, the media trains us to do this. This is part of the insidious thing that our team was covered by people that didn't take our team seriously for the longest time, and in some ways has trained Raptors Nation to not respect or love the team correctly like we do. And that's why I get mad. Like Nikki Reyes, you can be funny. Brad Fay, you're going to try and be funny on the broadcast as the host, and you're going to put down our team and neg it to our fans that are watching. No wonder they disrespect the team, because they're trained by the media personalities that cover the team that have shown disregard and disdain for the team from the inside. And the people that do that are often the host, like Brad Fay, the Danielle Michaud, Nikki Reyes kind of shit. Even Kate Burness at times can be a little bit like, oh, let's just kind of kick the Raptors while they're down, while we're talking about them in the intro of the game. Yeah. Yeah, it's annoying. It's conditioning from the media. It teaches us this. And also people like Vince Carter and Chris Bosh disrespecting the team on the way out teaches the fans not to take the Raptors seriously also. Yeah, it's annoying. Kareem saying, congrats to Larry Tenenbaum and the Toronto Argonauts for winning the Grey Cup. It's their second in 3 years. Also, quick shout-outs to Dejan Brissett, little brother O'Shea, Mississauga in the house. There you go, in the building. There you go. I love it. Yeah, it was cool to hear that former Raptor O'Shea Brissett was at the game seeing his brother win the Grey Cup. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. Cool Cat saying Fred VanVleet manages the tone of the Rockets on the court. He is the coach voice on the floor. Houston Rockets play Fred VanVleet a lot of minutes to keep the players in check. Sengun benefits from Fred VanVleet. They all do. Jalen Green is benefiting from him too. In fact, he's his pet project. Fred is very much taking Jalen under his wing, and he is the makeup for Scotty. In some ways, Fred was too nice to Scott. He didn't get hard and disciplined with him because in some ways he read the room. He's like, well, Scott isn't exactly going with this. These rookies are not listening to me, Justin and Delano. And in some ways, they're rejecting me as a leader. Scott's not necessarily doing that, but maybe those other guys did. And Freddie turned off being the leader for the Raptors at a certain point. And his regret is that he wasn't harder on Scott. He wasn't kind of like telling him what he needed to not hear, what he needed to hear more, not what he wanted to hear, what he needed to hear. And he's doing that for Jalen Green now. He's tough loving him, and he's getting more better things out of him fundamentally because of it. Jalen Green's been a horrible fundamental NBA player for his career so far. And Freddie is molding him to being more savvy in the right way. And it's tough love. In some ways, Freddie wishes he had been more tough with Scott. And in some ways, Scotty would have benefited from it. But the people that hated Fred would have gone crazy if they'd known that Freddie was being like that to Scotty because they want to protect Scotty's feelings and stuff like that. Bullshit. Yeah, tough love that Fred would have given Scotty would have made him better. And you idiots that didn't like Fred being in charge or being the captain of our team when he was, well, we missed out on some of the mentorship and things that are happening with Fred and Jalen Green right now because y'all had some stupid-ass ideas from a dumbass channel called Pensair Basketball. And in some ways, that's what Fred's regret is in the last couple of years of the Raptors. I wish I had been meaner and tougher on Scotty. That's the damn truth. He gave up. He at some point said, yeah, Scott, do whatever. I don't care. I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do. I want to teach y'all how to be more professional and be a better NBA player. But in some ways, I'm throwing my hands up in the air. And that was part of the weird awkwardness on our team. Coming out afterwards, we know this is what it was. It's not that Scotty hated Fred. He never did. He respected and loved playing with Fred. It's just in some ways, Freddie got disregarded as a leader and the captain in the way that he is being treated on the Rockets. It should have been like that here in Toronto, but he didn't get that. And in some ways, it's Nick Nurse's fault too for not standing with Fred and saying, y'all, Fred is the captain. Y'all need to listen to him and stop being jackasses. MA's got Fred's back, and that's the difference right there. That's the difference right there. Carlos saying, yeah, the younger generation values Paul George type of players rather than winning players. I know it's stupid. I wouldn't be like idolizing Carmelo Anthony and Paul George like some of these young players do, or LaMelo Ball. What the fuck are these guys doing with their lives? They're just playing basketball to look showy and look, no, I'd be idolizing people like Fred VanVleet. I'd be idolizing those kind of players, proven winners and guys that won and did it the hard way. Yeah, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Trevor's saying, why are we listening to people who play basketball in the schoolyard? Exactly. Why are we listening to them? Stargate saying, Darko's a good coach. You can tell he's willing to adjust and is not too proud to change his philosophy if it means better play and more success. Yeah, he's not stubborn, and he's taking advice from everybody. He takes it from his players. He takes it from his assistant coaches. He may even listen to us and be like, oh, that's a good point by the Raptor Freaks, what they're saying this morning about things. You know what? Maybe we should try this. I mean, he's listening. In some ways, he's not above taking in information and analyzing it and thinking about whether it's worthwhile to try. And I like that. In some ways, we had Casey being stubborn with certain things in the playoffs at a certain point. Nick Nurse, in some ways, very stubborn with his overplaying of his starters and certain things. Well, Darko's an open ear, and he's listening to the wind, and he's understanding. He's taking that information in. He's making intelligent decisions. And this is the thing, Jama, Pat Delaney, Coco, those guys come in and they give ideas, and he's not like, I'm the end all be all. You know what? Your idea is really good. Let's go with it. That's a very good leader, a leader that listens to all of his people, including his players. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah. Yeah. It's awesome. Let's see. Kareem's saying, how do you get coined playoff P when you haven't done shit in the playoffs except go extinct? You type Paul George in YouTube, and the first highlight is Dame shooting over him from half court. Shaking my head. I don't know, man. They just like the way he plays. Like they like his body and the way he's smooth. Like often the word is described as smooth. And it's a similar thing with Carmelo. Carmelo is a very popular player with a lot of people too, like Porzingis and Luca and different people liked Carmelo. But it's not like Carmelo's way of playing added up to winning either. Now, a lot of people liked Allen Iverson, but Allen Iverson's way of playing didn't add up to winning either. Stephon Marbury, these kind of players. That's why I look at player types that add up to winning. And that's why I value them. Player types like Ben Wallace, player types like Fred VanVleet, player types like Kawhi Leonard. People that do things in extra ways, like two-way ways, or they get down into it, or they are smart and cerebral. And it's not just about smooth-looking, silky shots or, one-on-one juke moves and bullshit like that. No, what is winning is winning. And playoff P is not a winner. That's for damn sure. And it's traveled to Philadelphia with him. That's for sure. It's traveled to Philadelphia. That's for sure. Carlos saying 100% Darko is a fine coach that needs to learn as well. This is why I'm so irked with Will Lou. He keeps whining about losing close games as Darko's shortcomings. That's not the player profile, the coach profile for him. And like he's saying right here, he's on the job learning too. And in some ways, you know what? He's going to learn and be better for all this. And I'd much rather accumulate stuff with this coach at this place than like swap out somebody else in some sort of way, in another way like this. William Lou, if you're really ultra going after Darko right now, it's not helpful. This is not the time. I will say this. They'll be like, Lex, you're just giving a blank check to Darko to do whatever he wants. You're not critical of him in any kind of way. Well, that's not totally true. I will say this. If we get healthy and we're having major issues with winning still because for whatever reason, I actually see some coaching mistakes, then maybe I'll come after him. Maybe I'll start saying stuff like this. There is some sort of point in time where I will come around and say, yeah, we need to fire Darko. But it's not anytime soon. And it's, once again, premature and preemptive and way too early. Some of the stuff Will Lou's saying about Darko. It's not fair. You're not giving him a fair shake. He hasn't had his full roster healthy. And in some ways, you're not doing anything good when you're going after him like this. In fact, you're going to mess things up once again, William Lou, if you're not careful. In some ways, we don't need to discard him just because he's in a of rebuilding with us. And in some ways, he's learning to be better NBA coach, because trust me, he is. It's all coming in and all the signs of the right things are there. And well, you just don't need to come after him, William Lou. I don't understand why you do this, man. Kareem saying, I wish we had 5 dicks. Sorry, I'm stupid. It's time. Okay, that's a very off-color joke in some ways. David's saying, discussing Darko's ability as a coach is a waste of time. It's obvious. Watch the game. If you don't get it, go watch golf. I know. That's why it makes me wonder about the credibility of William Lou and what he is seeing out there. Why can't you see that the man's doing a fantastic job coaching us, if not for the win-loss column and what's happening here? I get it. You can be critical about not successful in the end of games. But once again, I've explained a lot of the reasons why on today's stream. And it's not necessarily the coach's fault. That's what I'll say right there. Smooth saying, Scotty gets a pass from me this year. Next year, the gloves come off. There you go. I like that. David, facts from Mike. Mike saying, we need great development at the moment. Darko's getting results. Boom goes the dynamite. In some ways, we could have a coach like Nick that is sacrificing the good development of young players just to try and get W's like crazy. And that's not what we wanted. And that's part of why Nick got fired. And in some ways, Darko is doing what Masai and Bobby want him to do. And that is fantastic because they're on the same page. And he is executing what we're supposed to be doing, rebuilding and developing, William Lou. Not necessarily about all the W's, William. Just because that's the first letter in your first name doesn't mean we got to get it. We got to go get the one in your second name. Lou, L for right now, motherfucker. And just let go of the wins and losses, William, right now. Please, please. I know you're reacting. You're in your emotions right after the game. Oh, God damn it. Why did the Raptors lose to Jason Tatum in overtime? And you're in your emotions. Maybe you should sleep like me and do the reaction in the morning after you've had a good rest. Somebody. All right, David saying, I don't view what I see on the court as losing at all, to be honest. This season has been amazing. All right, I love hearing this from David. Love this team, coach, office, and chemistry. There are always people who just don't get it. There you go. I just know David's such a solid competitor. Like he just, in some ways, this is something I really respect about David Sabourin, is that he's an ultimate competitor. In his field, it really matters to him to win bridge games. And I'm just saying, I know this about him. The way he handles the fantasy, the way he played trivia and the Rapid Freak trivia is a very serious competitor. And I often wonder, it's like, well, David's not around. Well, maybe it is difficult for him to deal with what's going on. But no, he's enjoying the games and he sees it for what it is. He's a very intelligent person. That's what it is right there. David gets it. David gets it. Mike's saying the plays now won't be the same in the future. He's running basic things at the moment. So critics of plays know it's development focused at the moment and isn't at that elite complex level at the moment. Boom, goes the dynamite. It's what I'm trying to say. We're in grade school. The Celtics are in PhD, working on their grad. There's levels to this. And Mike is exactly right here. We just need to get the basics down and orientate 5 rookies to the NBA big leagues. And in some ways, that is what we're looking at right now. That's what it is. No more comments. Listen to Mo, please. And Mike's saying the best player gets the credit for the team strength. Paul George got to the Eastern Conference Finals early, so he's had the Pacers credit that whole entire year. And that's it. That is it right there. And Seymour's saying, dictatorship? What? No, Monique's telling me what I got to do. I'm a Lexathon almost. And it's just a regular Monday morning. We don't need to be doing this. All right, let's do my recap. Injuries for the Raptors tonight. Bruno Fernando has been added to the injury list. He will be out today with his ankle from the injury against the Celtics. So he is out. Kelly Olynyk is ruled out today with his back. Jacoby Walter is out. DJ Carton is day-to-day. Emmanuel Quickley is out. Scotty Barnes is out. And Bruce Brown is out. The starting lineup should be the regular lineup we've had recently. Davion Mitchell, Grady Dick, Ochai Agbaji, RJ Barrett, and Jakob Poeltl. On the other side of the ball for the Pacers, they have some injuries also. Ben Shepherd is ruled out for today. It looks like Aaron Nesmith is out. Andrew Nebhart is out. Isaiah Jackson is out. And James Wiseman is out. The projected lineup for the Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton, TJ McConnell, Benedict Mathurin, Pascal Siakam, and Miles Turner. The referees for tonight's game are James Capers, Natalie Sago, and Robert Hussey. James Capers and Robert Hussey favor the Pacers, and Natalie Sago actually favors the Raptors, just so y'all know on that tip right there. The Raptors 905 lost their 3rd game in a row against the Capital City Go-Go yesterday, 131 to 113. My 3 stars of the game were Evan Gilliard II, Tyreek Key, and Miles Burns. That's right. There you go. Boom goes the dynamite. Let's see. Is that all my tabs? I think that is. There's no birthday today, guys. Unfortunately, no birthday today. And Mike's saying the defense is set to develop man-to-man skills, and the offense is using fundamentals in a lot of the plays. That's what build means. When we say rebuild, we have to rebuild our offense with the basics, and then we get more complicated stuff as time goes on. And let's not get it twisted. Darko is a really, really intelligent plays guy. He has bragged to Samson Folk that he has a phone book full of plays and stuff that he can teach our guys over time. But it's a certain amount of information they can take on at a time. You don't want to throw the whole damn book at them and overwhelm them. So in some ways, you got to bring them along in the right proper steps to build them up. That's what a rebuild is. And if we keep leveling the house and starting over again with new foundations, well, are we going to build a house ever? No, we're not. So stop throwing people out of the picture, Raptors fans or Raptors media people like William Lou. Yes, just stop, please. We got to build and let us build for a little while, and we'll see how the build's going and make adjustments at a certain point. But now is not the time. We need Darko to do the Casey stuff to develop up. And honestly, I think Darko's a winning coach like Nurse is too. So I think he can do both all the way up to the top and get in the second championship. So that's what I say. You don't need to do Darko dirty so early on in his early NBA coaching career. He's only in his second year, y'all, and he is doing a fantastic job, regardless of the wins and losses in the very close games recently. All right, y'all, thanks for watching me today. Let's go Raptors. Let's beat the Pacers tonight. Hello, Siakam. We love you. And your 43 should be in our rafters, just like 15, honestly. I hope the press asks him this today. I hope they come up to Pascal and they say, Pascal, what would you mean to you if the Raptors retired your jersey in Toronto someday? And be like, oh, man, I would see the emotion come on over Pascal's face in that moment. You know, he would feel touched by that because he knows that that's really special. It's always special when Siakam sees all those 43s in the Raptors arena, even after he's gone. So show up tonight and wear your 43 for him. Wear the Raptors one. And I know Cool Cat will be there to do that. Dap to you, David. And there you go. Fiercey's putting Darko on blast. Let's go, Raptors. Let's beat the Pacers. I'll be back to react to it all tomorrow. Let's go. Get out there and touch grass, y'all. Woo!